Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Bandle City Blue Otter Talk. My name is Jay Better. I am joined here today by Frost, Beta, and Dean. You guys say hi for me.
Hello.
Hey, how's it
How's it
going?
going?
Good,
What's
good. It's
up?
good to be here. So yeah, up tonight we've got Fools 5 Squires versus OSG Tack Freeze later on tonight. So I'm gonna have a bit of fun with that. See how we're going over there, and we're heading off into playoffs relatively shortly. So these are some important matches, especially when you're around that, fifth, sixth mark. Those standings really matter. I mean, regardless, I think that I would be always playing as hard as I could be, regardless of my standing. I think it's just having fun and, doing your best. But yeah, we're getting into that position where these standings are really starting to matter. But yeah, tonight, because we didn't have a stream last week, we're going to be talking about power rankings. You guys are obviously going to know a lot more about this than I do, but I have done my own one, so we'll see. Have to see how my opinions stack up.
How different your takes are versus ours, maybe.
Yeah, because it's gonna be I've just like basically what I've done is I've gone over and I've
Holy
looked at
shit! What?
I've gone over and I've looked at things that I like. I've got reasons, but we'll come back to me last. Let's go to Dean first. Do you want to walk me through some of these? I understand the first top two, but we've
Yeah.
got Mercs really high up here.
Yeah, so for me it's like Glacial Void, just actually getting to play against them. I think they're really well rounded. I think their mid jungle is incredibly strong, relative to the league, of course. I think their top lane is like deceptively very powerful as well. Like he usually takes like that backseat role that I think his team needs more often than not. But they're able to. Last week they proved that they're able to play through top lane as well, which I think is a very valuable skill for them as a team. And then bot lane just does what bot lane does, and it's just very consistent DPS. JR, they're the other undefeated team by match score. They have like dropped the one game to CBI, and I think they have like their roster kind of shuffling around a little bit does like hurt them a little bit to me, because like not having a consistent team throughout the whole season does kind of stutter your
Sure.
way to like play the full season that long. FFM I have high because I think that their last roster that they had, that they beat us with, I thought was actually like a really, really good roster with Goose and ADC. Now with Goose out, I think that they're probably go down a spot or maybe two. So I messaged Dory that said, hey, I wanted to also have OSG at probably my 3 as well as Frost, just because I think OSG is like a little bit better rounded and then just like a little bit higher level across the board than FFM. But I think like those two are like, to me, they're like 3-4. And then you get to like LE Prime. I think LE Prime is like solid across the board, but I think they kind of have like a hard cap, or like if Complex can't really do anything, then the whole team kind of shuts down because he facilitates a lot for that roster. I think that my team, CB Freaks, I think that we have issues that we're like starting to figure out, and it just kind of depends on how much momentum we can get these last few weeks. Impulse, I know a lot of the behind the scenes. I'm not going to say a whole lot about it, but I think Impulse are really struggling right now. Nefarious are finding a groove. I think they're in a good, like in a better spot now than they have been all season long, just because like the vibes are finally back to being not shit. Squires, I don't know, and then Hyperion Lamau. I don't know.
Hyperion Lamau. Who's serving those guys, huh?
Hyperion is just, they're not a real team. I don't know what it is. It was the same thing the last split too, with like the last Hyperion team. So at this point, I think the org is just cursed, because like they're individual players that aren't bad, but as a team is just, I don't know, so somehow less than the sum of its parts, and the sum of its parts already were only like fourth, fifth, like peak. So I don't know what is going on with that team at all.
Understandable. I mean, I watched. That's another thing that you got to keep in mind when I go over mine. Although I'm looking at mine, and some of the lower, I think like the lower 3, other than White Rabbits, are wrong. So I'll have to correct that when I'm talking here. But the top half is correct. But yeah, that's another thing when considering my list, is that like that's the only game that I watched, and that's the one I casted, and that one really impacted my decision making, I think. But I think they did well in that game. I just think that like post 20 minutes, it kind of looked a bit clueless, a bit lost. I understand they can be difficult, but yeah, I think it's really hard to put a team outside of bottom place when
Haven't
we
won a
have a match
game.
score like that. Yeah, exactly. Peter, talk to you now.
Yeah.
You got the same top two, bit different in the You've gone pretty standard towards the actual standings for 3-4. Yeah, let me hear. We've got Demons up 1. Walk me through.
Yeah, I mean, for 1 and 2, I actually checked in with both of the teams because I wanted to know how they felt about where they are and their predictions for playoffs. And they both think that they have the best individual players and the best well-rounded team. So I think that like they're mostly looking at next week. And I have them where they are just because I do think that Glacial is a very strong team-oriented team. Like I have noticed a lot of the roster swaps, they all work for Jolly Rogers, but it is something that like when you have week after week a team that you can trust and build and grow with, it just has that edge that I see.
Sure.
But next week will be fun for that. And then I think something similar for like LE Prime. I think that LE Prime I have higher up because of that. They have a consistency that they figured out pretty early on. And they have dropped a game or two, but like not really. They're solid. And I think that Pizza Pasta Mafia is underrated. So I think he does a lot for the team. And I do agree that Complex, when he gets stuck, it can be hard. But I think that also just kind of comes down with the team gelling and knowing how to play when there is like an even point. And then I kind of go, I had a hard time with OSG because I really like OSG, but it feels like something for me is missing with their like synergy. Every time I watch the games, I think they're really great on paper. But when I watch them, it's just something missing. I don't know if it's like I can't describe that. So I'm gonna have to keep thinking about it, but I have them lower because it looks like to me LE Prime has a goal, has a vibe, and they're doing it. And then same thing with like the CBs. I think they are higher than Mercs because Mercs lost Gooses, and I think that's a huge loss actually. I have them lower because of that loss. It hurts my heart to not see that. I don't know what happened in the background, but it didn't seem like the best decision as far as like making playoffs go. And I think that both CBs have their own like strengths. And every week I like spent a lot of time with Narwhal, like getting them confused because like I knew who they were, but Narwhal thought they were the opposites. So it's kind of fun to like have them next to each other. But I also think that I have them high up where they need to step up because their standings don't match where I put them. So I think they could be where they are, but they've got to actually show it. And I think this week is going to matter.
I think Goose is left because of out of game stuff, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know. I didn't have any tea about it, but
I just didn't want you thinking that it was like a decision made out of like pure haste or whatever.
Right.
So.
Yeah. No, it did not feel gameplay
I don't
related.
usually think that way anyways. I've been a coach for a long time, so like I know that there's lots of stuff that happens in the background. As far as our team goes, I kind of like where Jay Beto put our team because I think that there is potential for our team. We've always had the potential. The strength has always been there, and it feels really nice to have. Panda loves it when I riz him up, but like he is great, and I think that he brings a certain energy to a game that is what our team needed. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out in the coming weeks. And then similar to Squires, like I can't figure out who's on their team. It's really disheartening for me because I think they've got some good players, but they don't always play them.
It's
so
Quirthy
it's hard
versus
for me.
the world.
Yeah, really though. It's just like so I don't know. I didn't give a shout out to Excel and Sword, and he always wants me to because I do like them and they do well. So that's my shout out to them. I mean, that's what other people say, but I think Sword is great. So my shout out is like I know Sword's got what it takes to like keep him up higher. So and then again, Hyperion, I think my shout out for that was like I want to see them do more with Chubby. Chubby is a player who has done well in previous teams. Like you know that he's same thing with some of the other players, but I just don't see him unlocked on the map, and I would like to see them play around players that know how to get things done, and I want to see more action out of them because the action's just not there. They're playing safe, and it doesn't go
Mm.
well. It's not
I
a
mean, I'd
season
love
to
to
play
talk to you
safe.
guys. I'd love to talk to you guys after we go this about some of the things that happen in gold, right? Because I know that a lot of people are talking about like roster swaps, and I know that that's a big thing that happens. But even role changes, playing off role, and yeah, well, I think we can dive into that a little bit later. But I think it's super interesting. Frost, you got some takes here.
Yeah.
Walk me through.
All right. So, whenever I was looking at all the teams and deciding to do my power rankings, I felt like that Jolly Rogers has a lot of very familiar, well-known names and a lot of players who could end up carrying in the game. We've seen Nazgos do it before in top lane. We've seen No Name be a staple as a jungler whenever he plays jungle. Crayson, I've talked about him being one of the best mids as well the entire league. He did have he did have an off series last week against LEP as well, but I still think that he is a really big threat, and their bot lane absolutely disgusting and one to be feared for sure, because I don't think that they don't lose games if their bot lane gets ahead, and it's a terrifying sight to see because he plays so many snowbally champs and hyper carry champs that you just don't have a chance to live if you fall behind. And I think that they have a lot more win cons to play through from what I've seen. However, I think Glacial Void is right behind them, and I think that if they didn't play so many of the lower pack teams to start their season, I could make an argument for putting them one over Jolly Rogers. And yes, 10-0 is cool and all, but I think it's just I just got to see more from some of these more up and like closer teams. Like I want to see what they do against an OSG or against even Jolly Rogers for that matter, or like even a CB Impulse. Like I think
Yeah,
that
sure.
I think that there's a lot to write home about this roster, and I think they have a lot of flexibility and a lot of scary potential with their picks, like Swain, Poppy, Vladimir, Yone, all being flexes to an extent, and something to keep an eye out for. However, it's just hard for me to say that they could be number one. But outside of those first two, I think there's a giant gap to 3. And I think the thing that puts OSG at 3 is that they have a lot of chemistry as a roster. They've been together for almost an entire year now. This is a team that goes back to LXC of 2 splits ago being under tactical feed. They made playoffs, they made some upsets that season, and then they moved over to OSG, and the core of the roster is still the same, and it's essentially the same guys, give or take a couple. And even whenever they throw in subs, they still have this depth to win games against good teams, which I think is a very, very big thing that cannot be understated. Because usually, whenever you put in a sub, it's thought to be a weakness just because you don't have your core roster. And with Fools 5 Mercs, I think as I watched them throughout the season, I was really, really iffy on them first couple weeks with their bad games, but the more they've been playing, the more that each of these players have been putting a presence into the game that has made them look more and more scary. I think Curry Muncher in mid is probably one of the best mids out there in this league, and I think that he really hasn't had a bad series for the most part since their first win. He has popped off essentially every game, and he gets bans thrown at him every game as well. I think that team is super underrated in the sense of they can do a lot more. And I think that they are absolutely a top 4 team whenever it comes to playoffs time, and can even make an upset against something like a Glacial Void with the form they're in right now. Or like a Jolly Rogers, for example. It's just, obviously with Jolly Rogers, Glacial Void being head and shoulders above the rest, it's hard to really believe in it, but I think it's possible.
I have a question for you about FFM real quick on that note. Do you think that they still have that same form with their current jungle and ADC? Like, would you still rate them that highly?
I think with their current jungle, yes. I think with their ADC, I think we have to see. Well, I think this series tonight is going to show a lot, because I think that if they're able to keep this good form going up and kind of play their own game, I think if they're even able to take a map against Jolly Rogers, I think that is a big, big, big win for them, because it shows that they can fight against these top teams. I think that this is going to be a true test, and I think that this is going to show a lot about how much FFM has improved.
Okay.
And
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah. And then CB Impulse, we have a lot of familiar names on there, and this team has a lot of ways that they can play through. They have Beta in mid, they have not Beta, sorry, wrong person.
B-Rock.
Barrock.
Barrock.
Yeah, Barrock, yeah. different B name. Excuse me. They have Barak in mid. They have Billy Willard in the jungle, and they have Excel ADC. And I think all three of those players, given the resources, can carry a game. I think they have a lot of threat with that. And although mentality issues may be a thing in itself, I think on paper this team's just really terrifying to look at whenever one gets ahead. And it's so far, we've seen the 1v9 performances from someone like Barak and maybe someone like Billy at times, but Excel's been getting ahead, and then we haven't seen them really have those pop-off games. And I think once that happens, I think this team can be a top 4 team as well. With LEP, I've watched some of their games, and as much as I want to believe in this team, and as good as they are, and the names that they have are really terrifying, there seems to be something that scares me with this team. It seems like that they don't really make the plays that I feel like they should for the names that they have. And it feels like they're playing a lot more reactively than proactively, which can really put a damper on what you want to do in the game and how fights play out. And against these top teams, you're just going to get punished for it. And I think that a lot of their wins have been really close wins to teams like Hyperion, White Rabbit, Nefarious Demons, for example. Like, yes, they have won those series 2-0, but they've had a couple of games that have been scares, including Hyperion, White Rabbit throwing a game against them that they were up, I think, 8,000 gold in, or 7,000, something crazy like that.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to have a lot more faith in these guys. I think that this series tonight against CB Impulse will determine a lot as well. That's kind of my thought for that. Nefarious Demons, I think that this change that they have, I think they finally found the formula that works for them. However, I need to see more of it because I know it's only been a week, and I just want everyone to stick to their role for 1 week, please. That's all I ask, okay? I want one roster for multiple weeks in a row. So if they can win this week, and I think they play against CB Freaks, who are kind of on a skid, in my opinion, I think that really instills them enough confidence to maybe make an argument for top 6. And also going with CB Freaks as well. They started off 2-0 to start the season, but ever since the roster change they made mid, it feels like they've kind of fallen on a skid, losing to some teams I thought that they wouldn't. And since then, they need a bounce back win for me to feel confident in this team, and I think that it just feels like they're playing off. It doesn't feel like they really know their game quite as well, and obviously Dino knows more than I do about the team because he's on it. But I think that it just seems like that there's a little bit of a disconnect between the players, and if obviously there's mentality issues that come into the game. Obviously there's certain out of game or in-game factors that determine roster changes, but I think the mid lane change, I think that there's a giant scope under Toastfish for the rest of the season because he has not won many lanes since he has joined this team. And in IBSG, if your mid isn't winning lane, then it really does not allow you to do anything in the game, which can just make you naturally lose games, in my opinion. Then, with Fools 5 Squires, this team has been playing musical chairs the last 3 weeks. Hopefully this is the roster hopefully this is the lineup that sticks. Hopefully these are the rules that stick. I don't know. I'd like to see this team at least make a dent and make an upset in the standings, but it's just hard for me to really believe in them whenever, especially after they just lost to Nefarious Demons. And we were just talking about them being a bottom 2 team then, and then with this change here and now, they end up getting this win. They end up actually not looking terrible, although the series was very messy. And then Hyperion White Rabbit, do I need to say more? They haven't won a map yet so far this season. They're 0-10.
My boys.
And every single time there has been several games where they've had leads. They have gotten leads early and they just throw them. I don't know what happens or why it happens, but they just throw them every single time. And I swear I've seen 3 or 4 games of that now, and it's just the most frustrating thing ever because this team knows how to play their early games, but once they end up getting to mid to late, they just collapse, and they do the most questionable things I've ever seen.
Yeah, that kind of happened in the game that I watched. I think it was, I don't remember who I was talking with about it, but
Might have been LEP.
it was a Jinx game. They were playing against LEP, yeah, but I wasn't sure who. It might have been just after the game that I was talking about it. But yeah, they played it was a Jinx game. Jinx was barely on like 2 items, 20 something minutes in, and they feel the need that they have to flip Baron because they're in a position where they have a lead and they just have to send it. As a Jinx comp, in that game specifically, I can't remember the picks, but I remember thinking this is a really strange call. They basically flip Baron, and then instead they decide to sit in a bush and flip the game like that. You have a lead. Just let your Jinx get 3, 4, 5 items and win the game. But all right, I have to defend myself here. First of all, I'm going to tell my actual order. This is based off last week mostly, right? So I haven't really had a good look at last week's games. So pre last week, this is my list. So 1, 2, 3 are correct. 4, 5 are correct up to freeze. Then I have Squires above Impulse, then
I'm sorry,
Impulse,
what?
then Demons, Mercs, and Rabbits. But I'll go through them. You gotta remember, I don't know anything about roster changes
You
or
meant
players.
OSG.
Sorry.
OSG was
Did you
fine.
mean?
They said OSG
Yeah.
was right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the top 4 are correct. The bottom one is correct. I've got the bottom is after freeze. It's Squires, Impulse, Demons, Mercs, White Rabbits, and I'll elaborate. Most of my analysis is off of how these teams did against other teams in the standing. So a big part of this is that Squires, they beat Mercs, right? So that's a big part of it for me. And I'm kind of looking towards, how I feel like drafting is going. Obviously, I mean, we were talking a bit before we went live about how, if you try to force like draft to look like a pro draft when your team isn't super comfortable with it, that's not a good thing, right? So I'm not just going to be going off of a tier list and saying like, oh, who's the most picked in LCK. I'm trying to look for synergies, and if I think a comp is built really well, and to me, that's kind of the only real thing that I can talk about. So the reason that I've got JRGC above Void is I think that Void had quite like a little bit of an easier time in the early weeks. Also, there's only one map separating them, right? And in that map specifically, I'm really not a huge fan of the Jolly Rogers Lux mid prior. I really hate that pick in general. And we'll get into this a little more, but they played against I think it was Impulse, and they played against the MF. Played against Impulse MF, which I also think is a mistake, from what I've seen at least. So other than that, I think they've had slightly harder matchups than Void. I think that it's like pretty much either way, but mostly I love seeing the Jinjiao Oriana prior. I think that's a really, really strong combo. One combo in particular that I really liked that I saw was Ornn, Jinjiao, Ashe Leona. I think that's a really, really, really strong comp. I think I go either way. We're obviously all here happy with the top 2. But yeah, Void again, very strong. I think they played slightly easier week to week against Demons, against Mercs and Squires was their first 3 weeks. They've got White Rabbits this week. They're getting kind of lucky with playing against the bottom teams. But I think it's week 7. I think it's next week they're playing against Jolly Rogers. So that'll be a good match to really cement that. For Freaks beat Prime, which I think at the time they were tied against.
No, we didn't. We lost
Prime beat
we lost to
Freaks.
Prime.
Sorry. I said the wrong. I said the wrong.
We beat
the wrong
OSG.
word.
We beat OSG
They
and
beat,
Impulse.
yeah, sorry. I said I've written down here beat their sister team. I don't know why I've read Prime there. They beat Impulse and Freeze, which I think at the time both of them were above you, which I think is good. You lost to Prime, yes, and Mercs, but I think in both of those, it looked like a lot of the time surrounding. Again, I don't know if players are getting swapped out, but your ADC was quite a good player. When they had a great game and when facilitated, you guys do really well. And I think in both of those games, it seemed like that was shut out of the game, whether it was through a draft that didn't help the AD carry, or whether it was just some bad performances in other areas. But I don't necessarily think that some bad performances in 1 or 2 weeks for me really takes out the fact that I think you're just better than Prime and Freeze is basically what I was saying. And most of that actually comes from my next place, which is Prime. And because I watched against Rabbits, I have a bit of a bone to pick with this team. I think they played against, in the standings, the bottom 2 teams, or at least it was. Played against Demons and White Rabbits, and against the White Rabbits game, I think it looked really shaky. I think they got really lucky. Yeah, they got kind of slaughtered by who did they play? They played one of the top 2 teams, right? Yeah, I think it would be interesting to see how it's going to shape up. They did some good stuff, like they lane swapped, which is for grubs. Obviously, it's different now. The grub spawn is different, but yeah, I think that after watching that Rabbits game, for me, I just can't put them third. And then I guess that leaves Freeze in the top. Also, outside of the top 2, that's the next 3 teams, right? You guys, that's kind of where the order was already. That leaves Freeze again, beating bottom teams at the beginning of the league. Sorry, does not help to say like, oh yeah, top 4, top 5 team. Lost to Freaks as well. I think that this is probably my spot for them. I'm really not a fan of the Nasus prioritization. Some of the anti-synergy between jungle mid that I've seen. But yeah, I guess I have to advocate for myself after this point now. And it's probably going to be the most fraudulent thing you've ever heard, but I'll do my best to make it sound fine. Like I said, Squires beat Mercs, which I think is important. Not all the time do I think beating a team is important, beating this team or losing one game here. But taking a game off Impulse, I think that from what I've seen, I love some of the drafts, but I think that here and there, like there's some really awkward picks that make their comp basically unplayable. Like they'll have a really good counter or a really, really good engage. Like as an example, there was a really great Camille game, but the rest of the comp just cannot play with Camille at all. So there's really anti-synergy between the front and the back of the team comp in certain games that I saw. Yeah, I think that if you fix that, the team works a lot better. Impulse is probably this is the team that I like kind of have like a bit of a hate watch for. I haven't gotten to watch them, but I'm really not a fan of the MF prior thing where you play MF, you do really well, and then you lose MF, everyone starts banning it, you don't do super well. There was some Garen Prio that lost some sets. And we were talking before about how just because you don't do well on something like a Rumble or a Gwen, it doesn't mean much. But in both the games that they were played, the Gwen was 1-10, the Rumble was 0-8. I think that losing with at the time, Gwen was one of the strongest characters in the game. I think that hurt. I just have to take that as what it is. I think Demons don't deserve where they are in the standings or where they were. Sorry. Had some really hard matchups in the first weeks, and I think that I'm trying to take that into consideration a lot when I'm talking about the top and the bottom. When you play your first 2-3 weeks against the hardest teams or the top teams, it's going to make you look worse than you actually are, right? Yeah, Mercs is my placement for Mercs is mostly because of I just hate what they play. Kennen mid, Kane. I just don't like these champions. I know that they do well in lower elos, but I don't think that that's a good analysis point for me to be able to say like, oh yeah, they can pop off when the other team doesn't have all their cards together. And White Rabbits at the bottom. I mean, we've all been pretty standard on that. I think they did have a bit of a hard gauntlet against some of the higher teams, but yeah, I can't look past the score, and obviously the game that they lost. It looks good to contest Legacy like that, who were third at the time, but yeah, when you throw massive leads, it's really not a good look. But yeah, that's my list. I want to talk to you guys about before we send off soon. We've been talking a lot about roster changes, about things that happen specifically in gold. I want to talk to you guys about why do you guys think that happens? I've got my own opinions, and I'll ask you each individually. How can we work to not get that happen? Because I think that maybe you guys don't think this, but I would say having roster changes all the time does not help your team at all. We'll go to beta first?
Oh, I mean, feels targeted, but that's totally on point.
No, on my Discord, you're at the top.
No, I'm kidding. I agree. I think that roster changing can be effective, but when you're just doing it, especially if you're doing it because something didn't work and you're just like switching to switch, I think that's where the mistake comes. Because if you're wanting a team to gel or grow or understand, then you need to be able to give them that opportunity to do that. And there are, synergies, of course, and people who want to play with other people. But at the end of the day, like if you're just going to switch because you're losing, that's not going to help you win always. That being said, I think that some roster changes are essential for certain teams. Like I think when I was hearing Dino talk about his team specifically, sorry, my dog's going nuts. It sounded like it was more about communication and synergy and working as a team. And I think that is a huge piece that often goes underrated in team sports. So especially when you look at like how esports gets, they like you'll get the pros, they're getting drafted left and right and like traded and switched out, and that's like a money thing. But if you're doing it at this level, you're not giving people opportunities to grow and like shine. And I think that's fixable, but it is where we're at. Kind of like a mirroring of the pro leagues, but without the right reasonings, maybe.
I mean, even though there is a money reason, right, to a lot of it, there's still a synergy like problem. If teams don't gel within a year, they normally swap out. And sometimes, sure, there are teams that like, oh, you didn't play well, go to challenges, go to NA, or just get completely kicked out of the thing at all. But I think more often than not, you'll see teams like DK as an example, as one that I'm thinking about right now, where they'll do really bad at Worlds, but they'll still keep a lot of their core fundamentals. Like Showmaker might have a bad series or a bad Worlds, and they'll keep him because they know that he's going to work well with that he likes Lucid. Lucid Showmaker played are playing together again this year, so I think that's it's very important. I think you're absolutely right that having synergy between players is really important. And if you're making roster changes based on that, especially based on meta as well, if your comfort picks are really strong, you're really happy with them and it's really working, that's great. But sometimes, you're a blank player and blank is just not working for the team. It's not working in the games against what the enemy teams are playing. It feels bad. But Frost, I want to hear your perspective on the topic.
I think a few things. First off, I hate when people just swap around roles and think that's going to fix something in the team, because I see it way too much, especially in BOL Gold specifically, where anytime that there ends up being the slightest thing that goes wrong, you just have people instantly roster swap, and this is multiple teams as well. It's hard to really do anything if people are just swapping around roles because you're never learning your own role enough to be impactful as a team, and you just end up playing this fill type of thing where you end up trying to use your general knowledge of what you know to try to win these games, and that's not good because you're not actually taking the time to learn little intricacies of the role and stuff along those lines in order to get better. So I think that's another thing, and I also think a lot of people press the panic button after 1 week. If they lose a week, they think, oh, it's the end of the world, and all of a sudden we need to make a change. And in order for that change to feel effective, they end up scapegoating someone, or they end up throwing someone under the bus in order for it to be like,
very easy to do that.
Oh, well, we make this change, and then all of a sudden all of our issues are going to be fixed. Whenever there's multiple teams that may end up having it be more than one player and more of a system thing than a player thing. So I think that's something that a lot of teams haven't fully understood yet, and I think it's something that really kind of irritates me as well, because seeing people get swapped in and out, week in, week out, isn't how you end up making your team better. That's just how you create more frustration within the team, because all of a sudden you've swapped out your roster 3 different times in 3 weeks and you've lost 3 weeks in a row. And you're still trying to find the code in order to win. You think that swapping players around and roles and positions and on the team is just gonna fix it. It won't. It just won't.
So, if I can jump in on that, because I've had my team's had to go both ways on that. We've had a couple roster changes / swaps that we've had to do. One of them was more of like a, hey, the vibes are better when we are playing with this person. That will help the team overall more. Let's do that. The second one was driven by me, where it was, hey, I am a jungle main. I am in a vacuum, a better jungler than Typhoon. Let's try this for a couple weeks, see how it feels. And it felt way worse to play with because my natural
Sure.
playstyle in jungle is not what the team needs. If our play style is
Yeah.
to like try to get Kai ahead, right? Our ADC, we need to do that, and Typhoon is more inclined to do that. So I'm just gonna sit in top lane, pick something that just doesn't die or doesn't lose the lane, and then focus on the rest of the team so that
Yeah.
take less resources away from my resources away, go help mid bot become strong. Because that is a swap that is like more going back to what we know
Sure.
works versus like, hey, you're a jungle main, go jungle.
Your
Sure,
case
you want to
isn't
try
as egregious.
something.
Your case isn't as egregious as like other teams. Like
No, it's not.
we can make an argument. It's like, yeah, all right, a few changes, whatever. That's not too bad. But like whenever I'm seeing roster changes and I'm seeing people swap roles every week, that's whenever it's a problem. Or
Yeah.
whenever
Yeah.
I'm seeing
Trying something for a
people
week, I
swap
think.
players every other week or something along those lines. Like y'all have only made one like
Mhm.
actual roster change in the sense of swapping someone in and out. You've done role swaps a couple of times just to try something. And like for example, yeah, gets you back in comfort. Obviously, if it's not working, that makes a lot more sense. But whenever we have people who are mains in other roles jumping from another role to another role to another role, that's whenever it's a problem.
Yeah. Also, I'm gonna real quick on that say, Toast played 4 weeks. Solomon only played 1. So like, yes, Solomon was the intended starter with the roster, but Toast played week 1 for us.
Oh yeah,
So,
actually I did forget about that. Don't mind me.
yeah.
I completely forgot about that.
So like, really, if you think about it, the Solomon week was kind of like the sub week or like the so.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's fair enough. I completely forgot about that week 1
Yeah.
as well. I was about to say you just reminded me as well, big time, because he played Aurora and he popped off on it. I remember.
Yeah,
that
he did.
actually.
But like,
Yeah.
he's got hands, but I am a selfish bastard and I just want to play Graves and farm everything on the map. So
And it kind of all stems back to if he
When
gets
you
ahead.
have a bot lane of your caliber.
It all stems back to.
I get it. You don't do that.
Yeah.
It all stems back to though if he has prio, y'all win games, and I think that's once again something that is very understated in this elo because it feels like that a lot of teams can't function without mid prio.
Exactly, and that's like what we're figuring out is like, hey, we'll be able to get more mid prio and we'll be able to play through bot lane better if we switch back to how things were before. Okay, now we know what we're doing. This is our winning formula. Let's commit to this. So like going forward, we're in a good spot. I can't speak for any other teams, but I don't know. I think that like swaps like that, where it's like, hey, this is going to help us win. We have decided, we have tried it, we have practiced it. This will work. Is a much better way to handle a substitution versus what some other teams are doing. Where it's like, well, screw it, trashy top now. It's just like, what? Why?
I mean, yeah, I have thoughts about that as well. But regardless, as long as they don't swap anyone out after this week, if they lose, it's fine. Okay. That's what I'm gonna say.
No problem.
All right. If I see a swap happen, I'm going to lose it, Beta. All right.
It's already happening.
Surprise, Pando ADC.
No. I mean, Mordecai is playing for me, so that's like the major change from last week to this week is
Yeah, but I was about to say if that's just like a limited, if like once again, if that's just a sub situation, that makes a little more sense than having like a full blown swap and having a roster change and stuff for it, or roster swap or stuff along those lines for it. So.
Luckily, we've got all the people in the same roles and moving forward. And I do think we're all good. It just, it's that mentality. I think we can do it if we just like hype ourselves up and actually play the game. So.
You do have to play the game to win the game. That is correct. That is a good point.
You do. You got to be locked in.
Yeah, I think that changing something around for a week, it failing, and then moving forward and changing it back, I wouldn't like put that in the category at all. We're running out of time, but I do want to talk a little bit about like one more thing on this topic, and I'll use myself as an example. Over in the upside down land in OCE, I come from. You guys know the game Smite? Has any of you guys heard of that game?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I come from basically like the OCE. I guess you could call it like the pro scene. I guess like the highest level that OCE has left, because it's pretty dead down there, to be honest. The game's dead in general, but yeah. But both two things that I'll touch on here is one, I have been on a team that made week to week changes, and that was because my captain just basically went on a massive ego trip. He was a good player too, but every week we showed up with a different mid laner, different support. We had one mid laner, kicked him out. He was really upset. Then we brought him back on a couple weeks later, and then kicked him out again. That was a great season. But the biggest thing that I think that we haven't touched on regarding keeping teams the same is trust. The best teams in that league that I've played in, the biggest reason that they do so well is they trust each other to make these calls. If their jungler is going for something, they played together for the last 3 seasons and they do well together, and they make the call and everyone is on the same page immediately because there's trust inherently between all of the players. They know that even if they make a bad call, it's okay. They can come back and make a better call later. But more often than not, the call is going to be correct. I think that as soon as you don't have trust in your team's ability to perform, the team just breaks apart immediately. And that's a long form thing, right? If it's a short term thing, you're changing every week. You cannot have trust.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah. That reminds me of something as well that I learned a while back. But you'd rather have everyone doing the wrong play than half the people doing the right play.
I hard agree. I think that
Agreed.
what I like to say is, as soon as you make a play when not everyone is on the same page, even if it's one person, the play is instantly wrong. It's not correct anymore. But we've been talking for quite a while, guys. It's been really fun over here. I'm glad to have you guys on and have a bit of a chat. But
Yes, sir.
I'm
Yes,
gonna
sir.
let you
Thanks for
guys get
having
to
us.
games, and I got to get to my game too, or at least casting. So I'll send you guys off right now. I believe we are hopefully going to go to potentially just a very, very short break, sort out some stuff over here on production. But we will see you guys soon back on Blue Otter. Be back in 5 minutes.
Thank
Have a
you.
good one.
Bye.
We didn't coordinate this. Hello and welcome to week 6. I learned how to count today. Yes, week 6 of the Blue Otter League Gold Division. We have the Fools 5 Squires up against Other Side Gaming Tactical Freeze. I'm Box Kimchi here with, do I remember? This side, Jay Beto. Yes, I remembered this
There we
week.
go.
I learned.
Nice. Oh, hang on.
Oh, that's
Oh,
just the
there we go.
draft
Thank
link.
you.
It's
Lovely. The
fine.
draft link. That's what I was waiting for.
Shyvana ban.
Perfect. So we don't have to
Ooh.
be delayed.
Oh,
Yeah. So I've got some notes up on these teams because I was doing some research. Who have we got here? Yeah, Freeze. Freeze plays a lot of Shyvana. I'm not a huge fan of it as a pick, but yeah, Shyvana Prio seems to be something that Freeze goes towards. They also played a little bit of Nasus as well in some games that I wasn't super happy about that either. But yeah, it's gonna be the Volibear first up. It's pretty aggressive opener there. I guess it's a bit of a flex, but I imagine top lane looking for some Prio, maybe some tower dives.
I'm intrigued by Volibear first pick because that just. Have I seen that recently? I don't even think I've seen
The
it
first
here.
pick?
First pick. I've seen Volibear. I don't think I've seen Volibear B1 though.
I think maybe if you've been watching some Lost Returns games,
Oh,
maybe
not the
see some
rats.
Baus Volibear played up there first. But other than that, yeah, I'm not too sure. Freeze also in my notes here that I've written down play a little bit of the Lilia. So I think they're taking it away. Not terrible. Maybe you could see like an MF here with the Lilia. But it's gonna be an Ashe actually, so completely ignoring my point. I still think you need some synergy with the Lilia. I've seen Lilia in a few games when I was going over some of the match results, where Lilia's picked and there isn't really any synergy to go with the Lilia. It doesn't necessarily need to be something like an MF, but something that's going to be able to land ult with the Lilia. You know, a Rumble, an MF, even if it's just like one big hit. You know, I don't want to see Lux, but that's kind of the same vibe that I'm thinking of, right?
You know,
I really don't want it to just be Lilia and then a Lilia game where it's like it doesn't really work. Hui and Jin, a lot of range right now for Tac Free. It's going to make it hard for Lilia to get in. Vel'Koz could be support, could be mid. Squires, pretty squishy comp right now. I think it's a little bit all over the place. But Tac Freeze, I think they've got it locked down right now.
I'm very intrigued by this comp because you have Volibear who does not stay at home. This guy will QR in, probably survive because Volibear is actually really like deceivingly bulky with his current build. And then you have Hui and Jin who are very much sit at home champions. So kind of regardless of where this Hui goes, whether it's support or mid, this is a very kind of confused draft from Fools 5. I guess also from OSG. Lilia really does want to go forwards, but Lilia also can hang back as that kind of counter engage. If the Volibear wants to jump in, if they get themselves some kind of
Ooh, I
hook
see what's
champion.
happened.
Ooh, Kenshin
I
not taken away.
think
So there goes the hook champion. Oops.
I think on stream and on the draft the names are flipped. So I'll have to check which side they actually are supposed to be on. I'll have to
I
ask
check too.
production that to
Rod.
get whispered in my ear. And then we can get sorted out for which teams are on what side. But for now, I guess we can just continue to talk about the draft. Lux banned away.
It's fixed on
Yeah,
stream now.
Nautilus.
Okay, got it.
It's on stream. Yeah, okay, that
Believe
makes
it's
more sense.
fixed.
The Shyvana banned away from Freeze. I think that Freeze here. I think their comp does have. I can see it. You know, you've got the dive, and when you want a backline that's going to work with the dive, you either want a backline that's going to be able to follow the dive or sit really far back and play from a range. I think that Jin works really well with the dive right there. So here from support, from Freeze, I mean, you could look for more engage, but I think that a Braum isn't too bad up against the Ashe. Man, I'm really not a fan of Nami here. I really don't like this. I think that it's not the best with Ashe. I don't really love how little engaged Squires have. I think that, you know, a Braum here is great, but you could even go a Leona with the Jin would be really nice here. I could see Alistair working as well. I think Freeze's comp right now is significantly stronger. I think that it's got more range up against Squire's comp that has range. I like the Rel too. Great. And engaged support works really well for me, I think. Yeah, I think that Squires comp want to be at range, but they don't. They're outranged. You know, Lilia wants to be in, but Volibear does pretty well against Lilia up close. You got Rel as well. Squires a very, very squishy comp. They don't really have a lot of frontline. And up against Jin, you kind of want to be building a frontline so that he doesn't do enough damage, but Malphite locked in. Damn, this freeze comp is nasty. It's real. I love this. This is so nice.
This is kind of just disgusting because OSG have just drafted 2 champions who can go unstoppable and a lane bully in Rel. Like, Nami does not really level Q until level 3 unless absolutely necessary, this is probably one of those situations. Because if you get jumped on by Rel here, gone. Flash is out. Flash cleanse gone immediately. You have no counterplay to just a crash down or a flash Q from the Rel. And then the Rel wins because she has Hex Flash. Nami's not taking Hex Flash. Sylas, they have a lot of counter engage. Like the Squires draft a lot of counter engage, and
Sylas top? Oh, it's Sylas into Malphite. I understand.
Yeah,
sorry,
Sylas
I do
to get rid of
understand.
the counter the armor, obviously.
Sure. It's
Just doesn't scale
also
with MR.
fun stat apparently. Which dev is this? August, I think. I was watching one of his shorts, and he talks about he calls it the sharpest counter in League is any lane Sylas into Malphite has a ridiculously high win rate. Because you basically give Malphite ult, where if you're going like a tanky Malphite, which you probably should be, even if you got AP, it's just the rest of his kit's kind of bad. Obviously, like that's the point of Malphite. And like you said, the armor, even though the Malphite doesn't do super well with the armor thing, I still think it's great at gap closing into immobile carries like Vel'Koz and Ashe. But yeah, the Sylas pick is supposed to be really good because it takes the ult away. He gets great scaling from that, but I'm not sure if I love it. I think that, you're feeling a little bit bad as Malphite not building a lot of armor, but there's a lot of AP on the other side. Ashe doesn't really do that much 80 damage in general. She's not going to rip through you as, a hyper carry 80 carry. I think that slam dunk some Merc treads this game for sure. Build some early MR for the Volibear, Rel, and the Malphite. I think that Freeze have many, many ways to go through this team fight. This game and these team fights. And I think that Squires, it feels to me like, what do you like into Volibear? Oh, I'll play Ashe here. What do you like I'll play Lilia against that. What do you like against, Rel? I'll play Nami. What do you like against Malphite? I'll play Sylas. But I really don't think the comp has an identity.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, knowing I guess Sylas is like your engage now. Sylas Ashe is your best engage. Maybe Sylas Malphite ulti with Lilia. But you're really playing hard into counterplay. Doesn't matter. They have 2 unstoppables, and Rel's getting in one way or another. You cannot stop a Rel going forwards. Good luck trying. Unless you have some kind of buster shot, which you do not have here. Or just full focus Rel, which also loses you the fight immediately. OSG are getting their engage one way or another. Concerning the top lane matchup, unless they've run in scrims, which I'm hoping they've run in scrims, please don't first pick champions on stage unless they are like Kassadin levels broken. Like 2014 Kassadin levels broken. I'm not seeing a single Sylas game this season from Google Mop, which is
or your
concerning.
Or your depth in world final, or not finals, in worlds, and you're playing Draven for the second time or whatever it is, third time.
Yeah, you're only one of the best players
in
an
elimination game. Yeah, exactly. I mean, gold. One of the most decorated, best 80 carries of all time. I think they're pretty close.
It's 1-1.
I have been told, actually. I was talking to one of my friends over in NA, actually, and he was saying that he was talking to a gold player who was saying that the gap between him and like a Masters player wasn't that far. And he gave a bunch of reasons, but yeah, it sounded like a really funny conversation.
I can give several without knowing these 2 players at all. I can give several.
Well, the goal player was giving reasons as to why he thought that, right? Oh, I had been a part of in-houses with these really high-ranked players, so therefore I must be equal to skill and stuff like that. But I think it's funny. I think it's definitely a thing I've heard a few times in the ranked ladders. I guess, League doesn't have a in-game chat, but I heard a lot on Overwatch. But anyway, back to the game. Yeah, I think I really don't want to say Squires team comp, is this or that, and then have them do really well because it's definitely a possibility. I don't particularly know these players' comfort picks and what's not comfortable, but just based on drafts, I love Freeze's comp, and I find it really hard to see a situation in which even behind, when you get to a team fight, your comp is just better at team fighting. And we were talking about it last time we were here. These these teams just love to fight around objectives. 5v5 dragon. You don't need to flip the game at all. They'll do it anyway.
Goodness. I was saying earlier that there was kind of this go forwardsness to OSG's comp and the stay backness of the other half, and it kind of doesn't matter now because you have secured yourself a guaranteed front to back, no matter what. There's no major engage that cannot be blocked by your Malphite or your Volibear. I guess besides
Yeah.
Lilia Flash Q or Nami just getting a picture perfect tidal wave, but Silas isn't going to be able to consistently get on to Jin or Hui, especially with Hui's Fear, actually, now that I think about it. He has really good defensive tools with his W or E, one of the two. I don't remember which one's the angry spells. Jin's just going to be able to kind of run circles. I'm assuming it's going to be fleet footwork. I hope it is, because he'll just be able to run laps around Silas. And then what are they going to do? They have to shred a Malphite, a Rel, and I'm assuming it's going to also be Roa Flicker Blades Volibear, who is very, very tanky, especially if he goes third item on Ending Despair. It's probably curtains on this Fool's 5 Squires comp. It is. I'm going with OSG as well on this first game.
I don't know if Vel'Koz is ever allowed to channel ult once this game.
Oh my
like
goodness.
outside of in lane, maybe, but if you're in a team fight ever and Malphite or Volibear sense your finger hovering towards R, you're getting ulted as soon as that gets popped, and it's just getting immediately cancelled. I think it's gonna be a rough game for Squires.
This Ashe is
and
going to
this
need
is
elite
kind of
footwork, elite dodges.
yeah, she's gonna need the shoes. The Jordans have to be on for sure. I need to see some gliding from Ashe to really do anything here. I think the Lily is pretty homeless this game too. This is kind of what I was talking about with some of the with the guys on Otter Talk just previously, which is I find that a lot of the time champions are picked because they're comfortable. We were talking before about how it's a bad idea to kind of force an LCK like draft as a coach, right? For players who oh, Rumble's really strong. Yeah, but I can't play Rumble. I get it. And it does feel bad to lose and not do well or not be able to play a really strong champion. Sure, I understand drafting Comfort is great, but when you're drafting Comfort, the comp still needs to make sense and have an identity, right? I'm not saying Volibear is not by any means the best jungler in the game, but it really works with this comp, right? It's some form of engage, it's some form of front to back, or dive. It's flexible, obviously. It can go top or jungle. It's got a synergy with the rest of the comp. So it's it's Volibear first pick, but there's a comp built around it. So when it's oh, we're first picking Lilia, what's our damage to layer with Lilia ult? Vel'Koz ult. Does Vel'Koz ult wake up Lilia? I would imagine it does, right?
Yeah, actually, I think if you cast it before the sleep procs, I think it actually does it. Sleep
okay.
is. You have to understand that sleep is on 2 champions, and it's very clunky because
it's very specific. Yeah,
they don't have to test. They test it with a few Zoe. Zoe instantly wakes up, obviously, and then Lilia always wakes up. But that is about it. As we are actually into the game, we have long enough to get into the game, so we'll be sending it over in a second. But sleep, kind of a wonky one because no one uses it, and they don't have to check it a ton.
But even then, why are you playing Lilia first pick and not
and drafting 2
creating
AP champions actually as well? Yeah, on top of that.
Exactly. You go, yeah. You've got the Vel'Koz and the Silas, the Nami. It's got CC, but does it really matter with the Lilia? I don't think that's the kind of CC that you want, because again, I guess I could see some kind of we're looking to pick off one person, hold them down, and try to all in them, but I don't see a lot of all in damage. Maybe Silas, but I think Silas in the side lane is going to be a threat for sure if we get to that stage. But again, we've seen a lot of these players just kind of 5v5 objectives and kind of send it.
Yeah, that's gonna be a problem as it is time to jump into the game. Ooh, good FPX Malphite skin, of course. Get the Doin B respect out there in the top lane, not mid lane, but the 5v5 is so heavily favoring OSG that the Squires are gonna have to get really creative, and it mildly concerns me. Like, okay, majorly concerns me because these guys love 5v5ing. I'm also a fellow gold player, so I know the 5v5 is everything.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
It is, but let's see what these teams can do about that.
Oh, GG.
A little bit of a
Manifold
poke.
attack.
Yeah,
Oh,
sorry.
missed the
A
mana.
comment hit
GG.
too, right? That's just you just win the game, right?
Yeah, that's game. It's like missing cannon for the first time. You just win. All right, what did Feldroth? Is that Phaedroth? I can't read. I'm sorry, I'm bad at reading. It is Feldroth. I can read a little bit. And I could read more because I actually zoomed the game in like a big brain.
I did. Do you have that little box on your stream, by the way? Like in the I have
Yes,
two streams.
I have the
open.
free,
Yeah,
have
that's
the game
that's
feed
super
and
weird.
the stream feed, and Discord won't let me turn it off. But we roll with
Yeah,
both.
yeah, neither. I can't do that. Very strange. Oh well. That's all good. It's all good. I can move the box away, so it's fine.
Not that big of
But
a deal. I'll put it-
yeah,
Oh, I can't move it to a corner. Oh, it has to stay in a corner. Evil.
yeah, stay in a corner. I'll get bottom left. Bottom left. It's gone bottom left for me. Gone bottom left. All right. Anyway.
And we dropped the minion, right?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Oh, it's cute.
I mean,
oh,
it's
Malphite too. Ooh.
yeah, it's gonna be aggressive start for this Malphite. I think it's good into the Silas early. I think post 6 you're going to be having a difficult time regardless. I imagine that Silas is going to be going Roa as well in this lane. I don't think he really wants to go Hextech, Rocket Belt, but we'll see. Could you know what? It could be Roa Malphite too, but I think that's a mistake.
No, I think it's going to be full tank. You just go Dorans and Comet, obviously, for the early damage. They actually do get the level advantage, which is something that you expect of your Ashes. There's the crash down into the 4-shot, so it's only a little bit of a lost trade for the side of OSG for now.
And just fleet footwork. So even though that rune has been nerfed many, many times over the last, maybe 6 or so months, it's the only choice here. It's basically the only choice for Jhin unless you're going to go like Dark Harvest. And I think if you're not an ARAM, that's
You could have went
it's
Dark
a
Harvest
questionable
game. It would have been a good idea. But they're
it's
all
not bad
squishy.
into the squishy comp, yeah. I do agree, but against this lane and bot lane, having the fleet footwork is a really good idea. Don't know why Billy decided to miss those minions there and walk out of the mid
Did he
lane.
play, maybe bait a ward? I guess that's my only.
Yeah, could have faked. You dropped 2 minions for that though.
That's not a good. You usually do that when the lane is either even or you have slight push. Or I guess. Oh, Malphite teleport
Maybe-
already out.
Maybe
huh?
I didn't see a really bad trade in top, maybe? Because he's based
It
for
has to be, yeah.
King
Moat.
Ward and Moat.
Yeah, it has to be a really bad trade that happened, which isn't surprising. It is. Now, how did he
Yeah.
get? How did this man get pushed? Wizardry.
Yeah. This top
Never
lane's,
seen. Sorry,
this
I've just
top
never
lane's
seen
going to be product of conversation. Volibear over here. Potentially looking for a
Unspotted.
gank.
Wait, hold on. He's in the wrong side of town. Flash Q gonna get the flash out of Google Mont. No, just doesn't flash, and that's first blood to Feldroth, and he's not gonna die to wave. He's more than tanky enough to actually finish this. And
I would really hope that
probably
he
get this
leaves it,
down.
honestly. After
Yeah, he's
this
just gonna
bit.
pick up.
Because he's going to get
more.
frozen after this if he doesn't. Silas is going to TP onto the wave. Yeah, exactly like that. And now,
He's late on reset too, so he's actually going to lose quite a bit of push here.
yeah, quite a lot there. But
I would
a
say-
really good gank.
He was good. Yeah, that was very good. Sorry, I'm stealing your thunder.
No, it's all good. Good gank. Rough, I guess, to use the flash to be forced to, kind of. I think Feld went in a little too early there. So Volibear, Mataram had to just emoting in a bush.
I don't think
My
Feld had
king.
much of a choice, to be honest, because the position Mont put him, just put themselves in was
Yeah,
or like the getting absolutely juked and then ending up on the wrong half of the lane with the Volibear coming in, honestly, I thought that was going to be a good flash for flash play, but I mean, I guess you hold your flash, but you also give over 300 gold, and yeah, now this is going to accelerate. I don't even know what you can build, and now Materium, no flash here. It's just probably going to be Nami flash. Nope, not even going to happen. We're going to get it eventually. Doesn't actually need it. Ooh, that's a rough flash for Trainer there, but barrier out, barrier not. This is double barrier. What am I looking at? Sorry. What?
True. Why does Nami have barrier?
Nami can take heal, exhaust, ignite. All three of those are valid options. If my support isn't a Senna and they take barrier, I'm reporting them.
Even then, heal is so good for Senna 2.
Oh yeah, heal is like the best.
If my support ever took barrier, like, I'm instantly reporting my support there. I think the only acceptable thing is maybe you thought you were going exhaust. Like, I've done that a few times where I think that the Archon looks very similar, but even then, I don't think exhaust is good this game because there's not really one person to ult. Oh, sorry, to exhaust.
You get Jin or Hui, that's it. Like, those are your best options. Hui has very bad consistent damage, and Jin also has very bad consistent damage. Why are you taking exhaust in this?
And how are you exhausting Jin in a team fight? Like, yeah.
You're Nami, and you have 3 tanks. What is going on? This trade, the scream, the stare, forcing out the flash. Ooh. You see those 3 stacks? If he stayed in there for one more tick, Billy would have been seeing the gray screen. I guess it's not gray anymore, so I can't call it the gray screen. Dang it.
Ult.
First, you're right.
Ult him. You just leveled. Did he level the wrong ability? Wait, I can see on the bottom left.
Yeah.
He didn't.
No,
he didn't.
No,
have
he hasn't leveled.
That was a kill. He didn't level at the time though.
That's a click. I can tell you, that's a player who does not use control.
That's a click level up, man. The Silas was tanking tower as Malphite leveled to 6. That was easily a solo kill there. Misplay from Google Mop, but
minimum you get flash, right?
Fast fingers. Yeah, minimum flash for sure. Minimum he gets flash, and I think that's a worth trade completely.
Wait, is this a Spirit
You're in a great spot.
I hope it is.
Yeah.
I don't know what else Spectre Cowl. I'm gonna check just to make sure I'm not accusing Feldoth of making the Heldroth. My goodness, words are hard. Of making the complete wrong move. It can build into Radiant, so it's probably a Radiant. Or Rookin. Rookin would be terrible here.
Rookin? I think all of them are pretty decent here. Depends on how he feels. If he wants to get a bit more push and can test the lane, I think Horde Radiance is good. If
Horde Radiance is a god item.
Yeah, if he wants to play completely weak side, he can just rush a Koenig Rookin and just sit up top. It is triple AP topside, so I don't hate it.
What
is
it
really?
He still has flash for this play. He's prepared. Oh wait, they have so many ultis. There's the flash immediately out, but they have the ability to just triple dive him. He's forced to steal the volley ulti and just get out alive. Held the flash for all this time just to get that. Huh? What? Why was there a lilting lullaby there when you were nowhere near? And you're Nami Lilia with a Fade dashes. You're not chasing this way under the tier 2 and 1 turret, so why lilting lullaby?
I think.
Wait.
Let's go. Nice. Good steal.
It is still. It is only going to deny a little bit. It is 2 now to pick up the new buff.
The feats.
To pick up the feats and the new buff because there is no longer second grub spawn. Oh yeah, this is the first week with different grub spawn, isn't it?
Yeah. I casted. Oh, I'm gonna ignore that for now. I casted another game this week. So that was my first game of that, or set, but it's just my first week on this new patch. Yeah, Trainer, the thing about Jhin, right, is one of the biggest strengths of Jhin, in my opinion, is the ability to have your support roam, because you basically just can't die on the tower against something that can't dive you. Like, unless you're against, if you were against your own comp, Malphite, Volibear, then you would have a bit of a hard time. Good E-connect there.
I don't think it's going to be
against something like against an Ashe and against the Nami, you're completely fine to the CS -1. You find a CS there. Volibear revisiting top right now.
Oh, there's no flash. There's the flash Q, and Google Mop is gone. Going to pick up a little bit of extra healing with that Kingslayer. Even with the definitely didn't move the mouse back in time. Actually going to be able to pick up 1 here. There's no damage coming from this Volibear yet. Immaterium's gonna have to pick up a refrag, and we're somehow even in kills. Like, despite, honestly, OSG kind of just looking all around better in this early game.
Not only even in kills, but Squires up in gold too. It's
What the
only
heck
a
is
small
going on?
amount. Some CS differentials across the board right now, levying this
You mean
lead
in
a little
jungle?
bit.
Holy cow, 19.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like 5 camps? I don't know my jungle CS super well, but I believe now
It's too many is what it is. These revisit tops. I mean, I think
full
that
clear.
if you want to sack your clear like that, Lilia does clear a lot faster, and we're seeing some invading right now, but maybe caught out of position is Lilia.
There's no lilting lullaby. Forced to flash out. Derpy is getting absolutely juked out there. Socked. Oh, they thought the arrow was going to connect. It does have a wonky hitbox, so cleanse burned by Trainer. That's the tidal wave out. And nothing's going to happen. We do lose cleanse, which will matter in about 2 minutes.
Oof. Yeah, using it there, a bit rough. I guess I can understand it, but I think
I thought I was
Trainer
going to
has
hit him
been
too.
I think Trainer's been a bit too aggressive with summoner usage. The flash earlier to try to blast at the Nami, who was also had flash and was nearly under tower.
And had
Yeah,
barrier.
you're sacking a lot of camps as Materium right now. If that top play goes better and you get the 1-0, I think it's okay to say, okay, I'm down a significant amount of CS, but we got the kill, helping this Malphite in lane. Because it's a 1-for-1, it's completely just not worth it anymore. And I think that making a really flippy play like that, where, yeah, if it goes really well, it's an okay trade, and if it goes bad, like it did, it's awful, isn't really a trade that you want to be making. I think that Malphite should be in a position soon that he can survive the lane, not win, but survive the lane.
What? Oh, nice E. Well, but Cleaver on Volibear.
Oh, yeah.
Into let me do my math really quick. 0 armor items, not even showing. You have Leandry's finished. Roa showing. Oh, nice dodge. Roa showing on the Vel'Koz. You have Wild Arrows showing on the Ashe, and Roa showing on the Sylas. And you don't care about Nami. Nami's a squishy, not building armor ever. Why are you building Cleaver?
A repeat. A repeat again. Malphite in first.
Oh, gets out. Still gets stunned, though, so it does have that little bit of tail at the end of the Unstoppable, and it will just... there it is, Q.
Will. Nice.
It will mean the Q comes back up in time. I was wondering if the Q is going to be back up. It has a really inconveniently long cooldown for the Malphite player to not allow them to spam it constantly.
Convenient for the other player, though. Like, if Malphite
Yeah.
Q was shorter in the early game, that lane would be the most unfun lane possible.
No,
Just
it wouldn't.
anytime
He would just
Malphite's
run out of
quick.
mana faster. Have you ever played Malphite with no mana items?
True, true. He does have a... I assume this is Mana Flow banned, and he does have the Doran's Ring. But that was a funny interaction. I didn't see that the stun, so I thought it came out of the like stolen Malphite ult. And then and then just stood still. Okay, that's an interesting play there.
A pretty epic tech right there. The Malphite ult to stand still while getting chased.
Exactly. That's a good play. That's like one of those, you see that on like Instagram Reels or something like that.
Chinese TikTok.
Yeah, exactly. The Black Cleaver, I want to touch on again. It's definitely strange, is what I'll say. Maybe the tech here is Trainer is like, yo, they don't have any defense. I don't have to go dom this game if you go Black Cleaver, and Volibear's like, yeah, let's do it. I think that's just
Counter argument.
incorrect, though.
Your PTA Volibear, not Hail of Blades.
Yeah.
And also, your Jhin. You're gonna be critting. The
Yeah,
armor
LDL
really
great.
doesn't matter when they all have
Exactly.
like 2,000 to 3,000 health. It doesn't matter when you're critting constantly.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, whatever the reason that I guess I could try to come up with, I don't think it's a good play regardless. Maybe there's some tech here that I don't know about, and maybe it's something that they've been trying. But yeah, I think it's a strange decision. I don't think it's going to ruin the game for them. I'm sure that Volibear will still basically be engaged, BCC, have some healing, and there'll still be some, protection shredded throughout the early game. It's definitely not the most ideal pick. Holy Radiance for the Malphite as well. So,
Right item.
trying to even out that clear a little bit, make it a little easier. These dragons so far have gone very easily over to
That's already a lot done. It's been 1 minute.
yeah, 2 rowers already built as well. A lot of prioritization towards this top side. Herald is quite a while away, I believe. Oh, sorry. No, that's Baron. Herald is about to spawn. So it could be
Yes,
a fight
Herald
over
spawns
here.
at 15 now, because Grubs again.
Supports have rotated over.
Oh, that
Kimchi.
is not good onto your Nami. That is a key tool already kind of chunked down. Google Mop also very low. Does have Kingslayer, which I think is one of the most nonsense spells in the game, but that's not here nor there.
Positioning around this Herald right now. Still poking from the Hui. Playing his range quite well. But, I mean, Fools 5 showed up first, but now...
Oh, nice
Attack
steal, but you
freeze
don't
has
have...
the Cryo.
Actually, that was 2 stack smite, so that is actually the correct play. Good job, Quir. Respect it.
just, you know, warding him off, scaring him away with the noise.
No, it's just the amount of times, especially in the ELO, as a fellow gold player, the amount of times I see my junglers use their first stack of smite when there's a major objective up, thinking they have their second stack, and I'm like, now we're sitting here for 40 seconds instead of 15, and if they start this objective, we're gonna lose the objective. Even if we win the fight, we're losing a very major objective, which actually they would really want, because under all of this, Lilia has dominated so hard. I guess Materium has been so busy doing things like this, running and dunking on Fugitive, almost buffering perfectly the bubble, but there's the flash forwards. No Q coming out into the crash down, so that's a bit of a oopsies. Oh my good, why are you flashing away from the unending they're not unending despair, downward something, I don't remember, it's like unending despair. And that's just gonna be a solo kill for Billy here. Just disrespecting Hui, even with one item. Hui is very, very powerful.
I think the biggest thing there is, you know, fighting without your jungler. Your jungler just based. Materium is on the map, but right now, Squires lost their support. They still want to fight this. Malphite ult has been taken.
Ooh. Oh, thought they were going to continue going forwards. That's going to be a miss. The bowling ball doesn't connect, and now, oh, that will be Rel possibly dropping, but that's just going to be free to leave. In the meantime, the Fools have moved on to this Rift Herald. There's no ultis besides Magnet and Curtain Call. Oh, Fugitive almost getting smitten there. Not going to happen, and this should actually be Rift Herald given over despite general victories across the board in that, and that will be defeats of monster hunting going in favor of the Squires. Google Mop going in maybe a little too deep, but is pretty safe to just walk away and take a reset.
Google Mop.
Oh.
Zoning away.
Oh.
Yeah, Jin down on the bot lane, split pushing down there. I think it was a good play. I guess your team wasn't really going to commit to the fight in general. Now has a level lead. Decent CS lead, good TP to mid. Might protect this tower. I imagine it will, but Silas, Google Mop. Jesus Christ.
Oh.
Bye-bye.
And
wow, that's a lot of damage on the way.
Again, disrespecting Billy on this way. That's 2 solo kills onto this Nami now. In like a minute and a half.
Yeah, I think the Nami here... You're basically seeing my issue with the Nami, right? Like, you've got nowhere near enough range. If you walk up at all to try to engage, you just die immediately. And Hui, Billy, he's scaling really well right now. Has 4 stacks on his Dark Seal Dragon. Third of the game. This will give you soul point for Squires. For Squires. It's a good play trying to fish out of the pit, but Squires are pathing topside. Do take the tower, but I mean, this is a very easy dragon over to freeze right now.
They're saying we have 2 Drakes. We don't really need to worry about it. Let's get 2 big standing gold sources off. And Quir, at the start of the game, or during draft, you said Quir has nowhere to be. Wrong. Quir has one specific place, apparently, to gank the enemy jungle.
Enemy jungle. I actually really love this
almost
give.
70 CS ahead, by the way.
Yeah, are we going to see a Flame Horizon in the jungle
What
right
is
now?
going on?
Vel'Koz, Derpy, caught.
Derpy learning what it means to stand against a Malphite. It means nothing happens. What is this flash? Going absolutely bananas. Feltron wants this solo. It's going to turn into a duo kill. Is the burn enough? Oh, the Q! The seismic shard! Feltron with the kill on Vel'Koz. He's 3-1-1 on tank Malphite.
It's a good find, but, you know, Kimchi, what can it really get them? It's a good, you know, stat pad, I guess. Catching out Derpy out of position, forces the flash, which is obviously helpful for a follow-up fight. Something that might have impact to this next dragon spawn. But even then, I think really, if you're Squires right now, you can just sit back and wait. If you want to, if you need to, we need more time for these rowers, second items for everybody on the side of Squires. I think that trade from them was really good. I talk about it all the time, actually, where teams will just coin flip the dragon. Like, oh, it's soul point for them. They don't have prior at all. They walk in blind and die and lose the game for one dragon. This is a game that they don't do that. I love the play from them. Herald mid, fought that mid tower, go top, collect the top tower. You already got 2 dragons. You do not need to to force the third right now. Great play. Atakan spawning up in the top lane as many repeat ganks.
What on earth is this?
Silas in this side lane. This is what I was worried about, Kimchi.
Who doesn't assume someone's here, but Billy gonna walk up anyways. The solo queue Inquisition. The fear a little too late. The spiraling despair. The spiraling despair juke. Mop gonna be able to get away from the smite. That could have been very disastrous, as Derpy is just getting beat up again by this Malphite. This time with new friend Trainer looking for their first kill of the game. Will pick it up onto FFS Derpy. What is going on? Mop is continuing to go. He's getting destroyed. The smite. Oh, is he gonna burn? The sleep goes through smite. Q, not enough.
Oh, what another.
Oh, the bowling ball. No, it's a gutter. Are we gonna see a spare attempt come through? If it hits the turret, he is very dead. As all this time, tier 2 just surrendered.
We're on Atakan right now, actually, in the top side.
Ah,
that's been
not
just taken
surrendered.
for free. Giving that tier 2 would have been nice to save it. I mean, Feldorf did have TP. Could have maybe been saved, but I mean, I don't know. Is this version of Atakan like ridiculously broken, or is it not as good? I mean, obviously the revival was strong, but the petals, it's a lot of flowers.
You do get an influx of pet. They did change it to Thornbound, so he gives a different buff because the 2 Atacons they couldn't balance it out. It's really hard, as it turns out, to balance 2 of the same objective happening simultaneously or like interchangeably based on how the game is going. So it gives you a bunch of petals, gives you all the petals that are currently sitting on the map, and then buffs all the stats you get from the petals by, I think, I want to say 30 or 50%, but that's my Pokemon brain thinking.
And then you get like a Jin passive as well when you kill someone, right? You get the little explosion underneath them.
Big explosion underneath whoever died, dealing damage. I don't know if it's as game altering as the revives, and it's definitely easier to get what is going on. This jump onto Google Mop. Oh my goodness, it is very funny to see 2 Volabarrelties going off simultaneously, one after the other, like a conga line. But now they're kind of just cornered here in between the turret. The tidal wave goes down. That's going to be at least a 2-man sleep. They're only going to be able... They will actually get 2. The curtain call is hitting into absolutely no one. Google Mop going forwards. Billy is down. Finally going to drop in this teleport from Feldroth just a little bit too late, and they need to haul ass and get out of dodge. Quir is speeding up, has that passive, but there's the unstoppable force. The root means that it's going to be another kill picked up by Trainer. No, here comes Derpy with the Life Force disintegration ray and turns the rock into rubble. It is a decisive win for the Fools 5 Squires on the overchase by OSG.
Yeah, exactly as you said. OSG really overchased there. It looks good. You find onto the Silas, who is going to be the biggest threat of the next team fight, but because you can't land on him and you've given up your position so significantly, now you're completely sandwiched by all the members of Squires. Some crucial points here. Feldroth had TP the entire time during that fight. TPs after the fight's already over, just to see his own death. And I think that OSG already had great position around the dragon. They gave it up for this kill. Maybe a potential for a steal here, but this
There's
is
no
going to be
flash.
soul
There's
point
no smart way to do.
Squires.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's
you can't get in. Yeah,
only
when you're
soul
set up
point.
around the dragon.
Oh, that could have been.
Nice try, nice try. It is only soul point. You still do have another dragon, but I think you basically have full control of River there, right? As soon as you give it up, even if you get the kill there, you're still very far out of position. The entire team is behind you. And does the kill even really give you that much after you've chased it out so much? If you had full vision on your team, placed all your wards with the prior you had with the minute remaining on Dragon, I think that even if you kill Google Mops there, that early and get out. He still has TP. The dragon was, a minute and 20 away. He probably respawns and comes back.
It is so crazy that we laid out we gave our ideas of what we think OSG should do during the draft and the early phase of the game, kind of saying they need to go for these front to backs after getting pretty good advantages all across the board. Eventually, it did have some stumbles and some missteps, but Trainer gets a bunch of gold just soloing the turret in bot lane with a bunch of the macro just distractions they had. And they could just front to back. They were ahead, or at least even, and they kept going for these out of, completely insane picks that they want to try and hunt. And the Squires have been fine to sit back and say, we have 2 Roa champions and, 3 champions who will just farm up a storm. Regardless, if you just keep trying to go for these picks. Oh, you want to go for the Sylas? Cool, we'll sit Ashe in mid lane. Vel will sit in another side lane. Lilia's going to invade the opposite half of the map, and we'll just take all this CS, get this huge gold advantage. And they've been playing. The Squires are low in the standings and have a lot to prove. And they have done phenomenally well in restraining themselves and knowing the limits of their comp, really.
And we were talking about on the desk quite a lot about how good Tactical Freeze's comp is. And I did say there that even when behind, I still think this comp is just marginally better. But I think the reason that they're really suffering right now boils down to one fact. Take a look at the right side of your screen, those pictures on the right side, right? I'm counting 3 AP, right? 3 AP. Nami gets AP as well, a lot of CC. And then I look over at my Malphite, and he's got double armor. Double anti-auto attack.
And I want to put it... I mean, no, you could technically go like Morel. Sadly, there's no AP. Or not AP, MR anti-heal item. I get you want the Bramble Vest, but you should leave that to your Hui. Hui has gigantic spells. And now Jin's building it, so what's the point of having it on the Malphite when 3 of these champions aren't going to auto-attack you? Lilia's mostly going to heal from spells, and very rarely auto-attacks in between her spells. Vel'Koz, if you're in range to auto as Vel'Koz, 90% of the time you're doing something wrong, or you're into a melee who you're just bullying the hell out of. I mean, it works onto the Ashe, but Ashe has no lifesteal.
Yeah, I agree. I don't mind the Bramble, but going the Frozen Heart before and then the Bramble when you don't have any MR, right? You're so over-investing into this anti-auto attack thing when it's not really that big of a deal. Also, I mean, I was kind of joking. It's not the only reason that we're seeing some struggling from Freeze right now. I think that there's a lot of mis-synergy in the team fights. I'm seeing the go buttons, to put it plainly, not being pressed at the same time at the same target. I think if you hit onto Ashe Vel'Koz with Malphite, Volibear, Hui damage from a distance, Jin damage from a distance, your carry should be completely untouched this game, and Vel'Koz Ashe should die immediately. How are we caught out here?
Really caught out. There's no teleport that can possibly happen here with the Vel'Koz and the Lilia. It's just going to be a fight or survive situation, but this is no Renata. There is no resurrection at the end of the path. It will be a shutdown on Google Mop, sorry, don't get us sued, across the map. But it is still a huge AoE. Why are they... Trainer's no health. Trainer might die to the Baron.
This is risky.
It's a 4v4, but this is a not great decision. They're going to have to back off pretty much immediately. Stop hitting the Baron. They got onto Fugitive. A Fugitive able to flash away. The W just not in time. Derpy forced to flash as well. But now we're unleashing a 2-man Drowsy. The Curtain Call finds no one, and Fugitive is now allowed to free fire in this fight. There's the bubble. There's the locket. It's not going to do much of anything. It's a double. It's going to be the triple. Feldroth will live to tell the tale. They shouldn't chase for the Quadra here. They should try and go for the Baron. Even with the low health bar on Derpy, hello. We're going to be able to heal up pretty healthily, and Fugitive is outputting a decent amount of damage. I don't think Derpy has reset, or Fugitive has reset in a while, given this is the exact same build I've seen them on for the past 2 minutes, but they get the Baron. They're fine. They have faster resets now. Logic.
I wish we had a replay function here. I would love to just get a picture of that fight, because Basically,
Why are you
what
up there?
has happened the entire game is happening there, where nice try on the Ash ult there, but this is going to be Soul, Infernal Soul getting taken over. The entirety of Freeze, they set up a bait, they turn, they look to engage, and then the entirety of Freeze, I believe it was, who was dead? It was the Hui, right? So
Yes.
Malphite, Volibear, and Rel were in a line running at Squires, and all three of them were hitting different targets, engaging on completely different people, looking to, I guess, start the fight on their terms. And then Jin in the back trainer has his curtain call open, and he's like, okay, where am I shooting? I think 2 different targets were shot. The last one, I don't even think hit. But
Last one just
I
went
still think
into
this is the...
Turkey.
Okay, fair enough. But I think that this is the issue, right? You need one person. Like, having many go buttons is great because you have a lot of different options. If you make one mistake, you can go again. But when you're all calling different people, the team fight is just completely useless. You don't do enough AoE damage at all. Hui is really it for your AoE damage, and it's not enough. I think that it's still not even that bad of a position. I mean, it is a bad position, but you're against Infernal Soul Baron right now. I really just want to see, guys, CC the backline, please.
No. Why are we
Stop looking for the Silas.
Why are we going after a level 17 Silas while there is a 2-2 going on in your mid bot? Why do we use curtain call to pressure them? We have a Rel.
Exactly, and there's still 2 in bot pushing this tower right now. I think that Freeze looking desperate, looking scared. They need to find something here, but I think their options are slim as it is.
No, he should be able to survive. Doesn't have, I mean, has the ult. He should be able to just ult out. Will be followed now. Finally ults and should be able to escape.
Nice try.
Even Google Mop can't dive. The turret is a menace to society like it was a handful of years ago. But my question really is, like, I guess to answer your point of splitting the engage, Volibear technically can go on his own, not with this build. If you're going something that has a ton of really high damage output, like the solo queue Volibear top lane that a lot of people have been seeing take over ladder, that thing can go in solo, what do you call it, an Ashe and or 2v1 if needed. But all that is just not, you can't be disrespecting it. They have Baron, they have 3 members showing, and one of those is the very fed Silas now. You cannot be just going in. What?
We got over aggression there from this dude as well. Even if you hit, like EQ, WR there as Rel, where does the rest of the damage come from? Your team isn't behind you. This is the same issue again. The team is not together. You guys need to CC one person and all in that person with your damage. They're not that tanky, right? I mean, builds aside, I know that there is some strange builds on the board right now, but you really need to have your CC hit one person and Hui kit, Jin kit that one person and hold them down while you kill that person. Once that person is dead, which will most likely be a Silas or Lilia, if you're able to go further and find a good angle onto the Vel'Koz and the Ashe, great. The team fight is so much better, but every fight I'm watching is one person sending it when it's just not possible for that person to die at all that they're landing on top of. That time it was the Rel. Earlier, it was a very split engage.
No.
Billy disrespecting.
No wards. He has a ward available.
And
he has
is
eye
just
as well.
gone.
If he's ever suspicious of what's going on, he has eye. Teleport coming in from Feldroth. This is not what you want to use your teleport for. They do get the wraparound here, so Google Mom could potentially. Oh, we just don't throw the ulti there. What is going on?
Ooh.
That is not when you throw your mouth ulti at that point. Like, you throw it when you see the bubbles start coming in. And if it misses, you got them to back off. But this is an overcommit. Why are they walking here? They give over the mouth ulti, and there's the CC chain. There's nothing Feldroth can do besides flash, and now this dude I know needs to engage, and it will at least result in a 1-for-1. But they're digging their own grave, and Quir is more than happy to oblige them. Billy.
Well, that was his kill. He needed that kill. Scoreline was looking rough. Needed that one auto to steal that kill. Actually, it wasn't a kill. It wasn't a KS. Woke up Sigma. Just name accurate play there. That was his kill from this morning when he woke up till now.
Oh, that's turret range. Okay. Sometimes turret range is wonky, but Materium forced to flash. I don't think you needed to ult, but honestly can't be too safe at this point. And it's just conga line. We're seeing the Squires just keep baiting them into plays. Whether intentional or not, I feel like they've caught on at this point. They're like, okay, well, Mom, even if you die, you want to just go push up to a tier 2? See what have the Hui answer you and see what we could get out of it. Because honestly, at this point, it's been like 4 or 5 times they've gone on to this guy, and the same exact result happens. They overcommit to the play, or they don't have vision control. Mop goes in, chunks them, gets the whole team down, and just kills them.
I think another thing about this comp as well is I think that Billy was still not around for that all in there, but you need minimum both Volibear and Malphite ult before the fight starts. If you're using it like it was used before in bot lane, too early, your fight never looks the same. Baron has started up, reset, but positions look strong for Squires. Freeze are walking in, Malphite ult!
Jumping in, they miss the W. But they still get the Spiraling Despair. That's a 3-bit Spiraling Despair if the current call connects. That's going to be damage coming through from the burn, actually, and that's going to be 1 for both of the carries, and they finally found their fight. A gorgeous ulti from Feldroth, and great follow-up from the team. It finally comes together in a 3-for-0 around the Baron.
There we go, exactly what I was talking about. You're down 6k gold, Infernal Soul. It doesn't matter, one team fight. You need to hit onto one target, inner side. Not giving over the Baron, they want the Elder right now, rooted and executed. Whoa. Flash over the wall, woke up Sigma, slept. A lot of shards though, nice. A little bounty collect here.
Derpy doing what any of us would do in this situation. I mean, you ain't stealing this thing. I mean, okay, hold on, wait. No, now you revealed your position. Now you really revealed your position.
Flash
now you're
W.
Cooked.
Does hit. Another shutdown. This Jhin trainer bided his time and finally comes online. A huge objective bounty. Elder, 2 shutdowns. Baron as well. And Freeze are hard back in the driver's seat.
They actually get the Baron off this play. What is going on? This is just the most violent swing I've seen in a while. OSG just spent, like, what, the past 20 minutes or something on the back foot? And it just takes one fight and a handful of mispositions, and this is suddenly all over. You're not getting in the pit, buddy. Smite was a little scary there, but it doesn't matter.
I saw one health there. I was scared.
If Mop had flash there, that Baron's gone.
Holy, that was scary. There's no jungle. You didn't have to smite early.
You didn't.
I feel like even if you lose that with Jhin and a smite, it's just 4-shot smite should be secured every time. But wow, Freeze, they get their fight, right? That I've been talking about since Desk the entire game. You need to layer your CC on top of one another, have the Jhin and the Hui hit from really far away. They are completely untouched, and finally it happens. They get Elder, they get Baron.
Holy
Sigma,
cow.
half hit by one ability.
Was that
still against
one? Oh, he's
dead. Oh, sniped!
So I want to tell you that was one Jhin auto, I believe.
Yeah, I think
and
it
a
was
QQ.
too.
The current call connecting. Nice current call there. I don't think it's perfect. Turret is disabled. Gets away from the smite, but that's going to be Derpy dropping. And this turret will not pick up the solo kill onto Dude I Know. Turntables, man. Turntables. They're gonna
Where's Del when you need her, huh?
They're gonna try and close this out.
What a pull from the Hui. Holy.
Oof.
The
Billy
E3,
is
E
team on the back. Oh, what an ulti. Nice ult from Feldroth. Gets rewarded with the kill credit too. And somehow the turnaround is going to be complete. I don't think this Nami has 1 kill. Nice 4-man sleep. Wait a minute. There's 1 kill going down. The tidal wave is nice, but it's not going to be enough. This Nami is so close to dead. Quir is full health, but does he have the damage to finish this job? Barrier out. Will survive, but not for much longer. Billy is so low. Quir trying to superhero. hero ball like Jason Tatum yesterday, but it's not going to be enough. OSG pull this one out of the depths, and the Squires end up down 1-0.
I mean, I'm gonna have to find the part in the desk where I said where I said even if they're down a significant amount of gold, I still think that the team fight is better because all you have to do is like get a fight like we just saw, and basically what we saw happens, right? That's the thing with a comp where your team fight is just significantly better, where gold deficit doesn't particularly matter because the people who have the gold get one shot regardless and they don't have time or space to hit. You have no frontline providing space. You have backline that can't really do damage. Like, yeah, I guess Vel'Koz, like base kit can, but still super easy to land on top of Vel'Koz with both Volibear and the Malphite. You can never ult. I think that Ashe doesn't really have a position either. The Lilia, I mean, the Nami as well, I think was. I was confused by it, sure, but I didn't think that it would perform as. It would underperform as badly as it did. Because the Nami looked completely useless that game. Not the player, the champion. I think that Nami just had no place in that comp at all. The buff onto Ashe was completely useless. The wave doesn't really hamper the engage enough. It's not enough of a peel to stop the Malphite Volibear ults and the Rel as well landing. And yeah, you just have no way of getting to Jin Hui. You have no way of getting through the front line either. It's a rough end game for Squires.
It is going to be hard to execute when you literally cannot stop two of the core engages that are going to be working together. When a tidal wave, you could throw it all you want, it can't stop an unstoppable champion. There's no mold breaker in this game to deny some weird effects. And oh, that's gonna be a tough one to swallow, really. Yeah, the Squires had it in the palm of their hands, and it's one engage. You can't even say it was a bad angle. They teased the Baron, and if they find, it's just a slight misposition from Fugitive, a little too far forwards, gets caught by the Malphite ulti, and that's the beginning of the end, and they never were able to recover because with a comp like this, once you get behind, it is kind of just over because you rely so heavily on one kill into another, into another, into another. Not, we can go in anytime we want, boom, 5v5, and even if we don't get all of them consecutively, we can probably pick up a ton of kills at once and hope for the best. And that's gonna, again, the Nami, I think I saw maybe 3 tidal waves that ended up actually mattering. A few good bubbles, yes, and obviously enabling the Ashe. We didn't see the solo kill or the duo kill that happened in the bot lane while the Rel was roaming, but do those like 5 or 6 things really off-put the lack of engage or the lack of consistent counter engage or peel that could have been provided by a Thresh, Alistar, any tank pretty much in the bot lane? I don't think it's enough, and it's going to be, well, they don't have the option to pick it, but it's going to be back to the drawing boards to really get all of their ideas and all their players into one cohesive unit that can win them a game and send it to game 3.
And what do you play now towards this Fearless? I think Squire's comp already looked a little bit rough. But now, what do you prioritize towards? I think yeah, it's kind of funny because in these Fearless games, it tends to be like the more meta-esque comps. What is happening with my production right now?
Uh-oh,
Ooh,
just
doesn't look very good. Hopefully, hopefully we're able.
just a little friendly trolling with the production team. It's nothing major. Or it's bad. Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Never
yeah.
mind. It's not a little bit of trolling. Disaster is
No, it is not
striking.
good.
Things
We
are
can
not.
talk for a bit.
We'll solve
While
the
we
problem.
see, do we need to production? Do we need to maybe
Are we
skip
going offline
draft
for a
and talk about
second?
it after? Do you want to have a reset quickly now?
Yes. That's not.
Okay.
Okay, so
All
we're
right.
getting the word from. Yep. We are getting the word from our producer that we will take a little bit of a longer break. The players will hold draft. We will not miss any of the strategizing or the action. We just need a quick moment to reset everything. I believe the stream will also be temporary offline. Correct me if I'm wrong really quickly.
Yes, it will be offline for a bit, but hopefully we'll be back.
With draft for game 2.
Yeah. See you guys soon.
Hello and welcome back for the Gold Division. OSG versus Fools 5 Squires, 1-0 lead for OSG Tactical Freeze. A lot of things going wrong. Sorry for the delay, but we are here now for game number 2. OSG trying to close the series. The Squires trying to extend it, and I don't know how the playoff format works, but I'm assuming keep their playoff hopes alive because one win doesn't seem like the right amount to get you in.
I believe it's top 8. I could be wrong, but I looked at the bracket. I think
they are
it's
top 8.
I think
they're top 8.
Quarterfinals, semis, and then finals. So yeah, you definitely want to be playing off of your slots though. Again, Shyvana banned away. Squires, a lot of jungle prioritization in general. But Caitlyn first pick, looking for an aggressive bot lane.
Caitlyn locked in first pick. Lux banned away. I guess, yeah, fair enough. If someone on the enemy team... I'm going to go check now, because honestly, I don't know. Is someone on OSG so cracked at Lux that they just can't afford to let it through?
There are still supports you can play with. Caitlyn, right? You know, Brahm's still available.
Oh! Dude, casual 325 KDA in 37 games with a 62% win rate. Fair, not...
Very nice.
Fair enough.
Oh, here it is. I got to shout out Aussie in the back for the Sivir locked in here. Sivir pick. It's a rough one into the Caitlyn for sure. Prioritizing 80 carry again. You're not a fan? You don't like the Sivir either?
I have despised Sivir for so long. She is like the most boring ADC in the known universe. Zac, on the other hand, I mean, is boring to a lot of people because he just one-shots you as a full tank, but I just love him. He is a little demon, or a giant demon, I guess, depending on how much HP you have, who just flies in, nukes people. Yeah. It's a great time.
I understand, you know, the gap close against the Caitlyn makes sense, right? Poppy
Ooh,
pick
that's
here.
a good
I'm
one.
a huge fan of Poppy.
Don't put
Put
in
into the
support.
Zac if you're able to find him. But yeah, big flex. I mean, technically it's still like a three role flex. I love the Poppy here. I think maybe potentially picking away a mid laner could be something that you want to go towards here. Keep the flex available. Have something that's got decent HP shred. In my mind, goes towards an Azir, but I don't know if gold players are playing Azir. It's going to be the Maokai, so still holding with the flex.
Flexibility. Jeez, this is like 2 3-lane flexes in consecutive picks. This could go anywhere. Maybe it's Kate mid. Maybe they think they're Chovy. Maybe.
Maybe. That would not strike me too different. Gold player, you know, Chovy, like I said, pretty close in skill, I think.
This is an uncommon one, to put it nicely.
Ooh, Thresh. I guess taking away potentially from the Caitlyn Thresh, but I think that with Poppy Maokai, like, is it likely that it's going to be, you know, Maokai jungle, Poppy top, Thresh support? Probably not. I would imagine Poppy or Maokai probably in support here. Still a flex. But yeah, Sivir Thresh. Oh, is that really the...
No. I'm just going to cut you off.
Is that really the...
He's played... this dude I know has played a good amount. I mean, 10 games of Thresh, 331 KDA. Yes, but Thresh not popular really anywhere right now, and it's because he's kind of just outclassed in an area that's just dominated by engage tanks. He has great engage, peel, and escape, but he doesn't excel at any of them in particular, and I feel it would have just been better to lock down a potential just full-on tank, peel, and good engage. But it does technically kind of outrange Caitlyn, so it can work if the hooks are picture perfect for Dude I Know.
A lot of prioritization towards the mid in these bans. Both Talia Rise banned away by Freeze, Oriana, and the Nico banned away from Squires. I think these are all good picks. It doesn't leave much available. Galio picked here for Tack Freeze. A lot of frontline. I think we're going to need some kind of carry from the top lane. Something like a Camille, but again, Camille into Poppy, Maokai. I'm sure there's better options here. I mean, could go Jace, I guess, but are you overcommitting towards the AD damage with those two picks? You know, Rumble might be okay, but again, against a Maokai, it's a bit hard. I don't mind the Galio. Yone picked here for Squires is a really nice pick. A lot of AD damage, but great team fight. Good engage onto the Sivir. Does fine against the Zac. I wanted that HP shred, right? And I mentioned Azir, but Yone does that pretty decently as well. Go Bork with the passive as well. Last pick here. I mean, I still think there's a flex. It could be Yone top.
Could be
So
anything.
I really don't know where these picks are going here until the end.
They have 3 roles they could possibly pick for. This
No,
is
I hate that. I hate that. I hate it. I hate
jungle.
it. I hate
That's
it.
not good, and this probably means it's Maokai support. I would assume so. 'Cause you don't want Maokai top into pretty much anything that isn't going to pretty much can't really play it into much at this moment in time. Galio, I don't think he beats Galio. This is Warwick top?
Yeah,
Is
I
it-
think it is Warwick top.
Or is this just
I
Warwick to
don't
match the
hate it,
tank?
I guess. I feel like if Squires had anything else, I think they need some form of AP. I think they need not Kane. They've got enough damage with the Yone Caitlyn, I think. I mean, even if you wanted to go like Yone top and put like maybe a Syndra, I guess, in the mid lane, kind of works. But yeah, I'm just really not a fan of Kane. I think that it's like
Why is he
a
here?
feast or famine pick completely. If you do really well, great. If you don't,
Let's see.
the
I'm
champion
gonna
just
get
kind of
some.
doesn't exist. The Warwick is going to be a terror in the top for sure, but again, I don't really see on this time. This time it's Freeze. I don't really see Freeze's team fight. You know, I guess like Zach Galio has some synergy with Zach jump in, Galio follow. Warwick can probably chase as well. I guess Freeze's comp is very run at you with the Sivir, just
They have
enabling.
Infinite peel.
They do have a lot of peel for the Sivir too, but
They have no AP. Zac and Galio are your AP damage dealers, and they are hopefully not building AP. Let's see.
Yeah. I
Warwick
think
top.
I'm still gonna say that I like Squires comp. I'm gonna like Squires comp more, even though they have a Kane. I think it could have been something a little bit better. I think that if you wanted to potentially have Yone in the mid lane, do something like Poppy support, Maokai jungle, and then have some form of AP threat in the top lane. You could have, you could have taken something like a Rumble. You could have even something like a Vlad would have been pretty decent here, I think, up against the Warwick. Maybe you just get mirrored by the Galio. Maybe that's the worry, but I don't really think it matters too much. You could go Cannon as well, and just I feel like they need one more engage tool, but it needs to be a damage engage tool. I think they need something that like maybe Gragas. I don't know, something like that is something that I think I would have liked a little more. But I'm still a fan of Squires comp more.
I like the Poppy a lot, actually. I mean, we saw the Zac, and I immediately was like, well, they drafted right into the Poppy's hand. I think it's 3 of them have dashes. I don't think you can block Warwick's Q with Steadfast Presence. You definitely can't block his ultimate, but with all this peel, all the peel in the universe on the side of OSG, one Poppy ult in the right, one Poppy ult in the right place, all for waste. Like, it's all gone. Sivir's standing there alone awkwardly, maybe with a Thresh by her side. This is an all AD game, so everyone's gonna Poppy, Thresh, Galio, Zac, Maokai, all gonna stack armor this game. There's no need for AP except for I think, what is it, 50% Yone does every other auto attack or something?
Yeah.
Or not even that much. It's a weird amount, and it doesn't really make sense. But it's a very microscopic amount to not worry about.
Yeah, it's not enough for you to really be like, oh, you really have to go some MR here. I'm just worried about this Kane because I guess it's Poppy jungle. Yeah, Poppy. I agree. Poppy's great here. Maokai. I'm a huge fan of Maokai in general, but I mean maybe Poppy Maokai Yone is enough like of a team for Kane to play around. But I don't know.
I still think it should have. Yeah, I'm on the side of Poppy Jungle. Just with all these dash threats, Zac, Thresh, and Galio, none of those are in the top lane. Poppy is insane counter gank, so she can just hover any lane she wants after she finishes her clear and immediately just dissuade any engage, and it's gonna be stuck in the top lane for 10 to 15 minutes. And what is Kane going to do? He's not ganking Sivir. Sivir's playing either super far back or shoving this wave, leaving, coming back, shoving wave. Like every 4 waves now, because cannon wave is on the 4th wave. Every 4 waves, shove, get the cannon wave in, leave, buy like 2 or 3 components, repeat for ad infinitum because it's Sivir and she needs to CS a lot. Like 400 CS monster was not a joke back in the day, and it still isn't now. What is...
Yeah.
I mean, Yone is technically going to win into Galio, but Galio doesn't care. He's a tank.
Yeah.
And you don't really win bot lane here unless you pick up a lot of kills, because Sivir's going to... is a hyper carry. She's like the OG hyper carry. She will hit 3 items and shred your team to pieces at 25 minutes. So, like, what's the angle here for...
Yeah, I think I agree. I think these team fights, they're gonna be bloody. That's all I can think. That I don't know if there's too much side lane play, right? Like Galio, Yone, great, they're fine in side lanes, but I feel like both of them don't really want to fight each other. They kind of want to fight other people. Galio can kind of mitigate Yone's side lane, and Yone does have a really good side lane. Galio has a pretty decent side lane as well, just like hard clearing waves and roaming into the mid lane or roaming around fights. But yeah, I think that these comps are basically just 5v5 brawling who can land their kit first, right? If Warwick and Sivir aren't really able to do enough, I think that Squires comp looks really good. But I mean, if Caitlyn and this Kane specifically can't really get off the floor, it's gonna be difficult. I think Yone still does a ton of damage, but I mean, Maokai support's one of those picks that it's kind of strange because yeah, he has great engage. He has like guaranteed confirmed engage with Q. The R is obviously a great team fight start, but it's like he's not really ever going to be that tanky in the support role. I mean, it could be Maokai jungle Poppy support, obviously, and I think that's maybe even better. But oh no, it can't be. Sorry, wait, Kane. I'm stupid. Kane's there.
Kane is right there.
Yeah, it can't be.
There is
Yeah,
no
it has
chance.
Has to be something like Poppy top and Maokai support.
I mean, I'm just looking at the champs that are available in the mid lane, because I'm assuming they didn't want to go Gragas, they didn't want to go Elise or Diana. Like, there's Ahri, there's still Annie, which is really good at this tier. Aurora is massively good. Brand Jungle actually was available. Huge AP damage threat in any team fight, especially because this is a team fight oriented team with the Maokai, and if you want to keep the Yone in mid with the Caitlyn, you get the Brand. That's a huge AP threat that they have to respect no matter what. But like,
what about like a Cassiopeia mid?
If they want to go Cass mid,
Cass
is huge. I mean,
that's not
Zac,
not
Galio. I mean, you're into Galio, yes, but Galio
sure
has the weird thing of he's good into AP champs, but he's just better into AP champs. He's already one of the best champs in the entire game. There is no denying it. He's just really strong in general and happens to be really good into AP champs, but he doesn't shut them down entirely if you play around it properly. Sorry, I almost choked him down.
I love this angle.
Holy cow.
I love this angle so much.
This is the power of Control Shift Scroll. Or something like
Shift
that.
Z Scroll, baby. Good job, Riot.
There's so many good AP options just in mid lane alone, because if they really wanted this Kayn, which I think they should have gone for, not the Kayn, but we've already established that. I mean, Nidalee. Oh, I would love to see a Nidalee.
I don't want to see a golden Italy
Ultimate
ever. I
crash
think that
and
would be
ultimate feast or
the
famine
worst.
champion.
Yes, absolutely.
Alia's available. Like, there's so many good options that are AP threats that you can keep the Kane. Like, you can keep the Kane, honestly. If you go red Kane, he's actually really good setup for champions like Ari and Talia, as it allows really easy setup. Oh, I know we're going back to cams as we are in the pause. But if they really wanted to keep the Kane in the jungle, Poppy in top lane into this Warwick, they could have supplemented AV. But it's, as you said, whoever hits their AD first, whoever gets their AD out the fastest on the most important target, which is going to be these very squishy AD sources, Yone, Caitlyn, and Sivir on the other side. Yeah, they really only have one on the side of OSG. It's just, if you can get past the 4 tanks, you defeat OSG.
I think I'm reading here that support could be support tech issue on the side of Squires. So hopefully that doesn't take too long to fix up. But yeah, had a few issues with the client today. So hopefully we can continue this after with no issues. But yeah.
Oh, geez. Issues have been the theme of the day. Oh, we could have saw Evelyn. That would have been the real
Evelyn.
deal.
Ooh.
I don't think it would have worked.
Oh, it looks like they're ready, I think. Okay, game starting back up. Don't have to talk for too long here.
In 0 seconds plus whatever the spec to keep the spec delay, because the game is unpaused. It is just that it's not unpaused for us. Yen, just bear with us for a second. The spec client is working its hardest. It's trying its best.
Average spectator client game is what
that zoom out
what
was
I'm hearing. There we go.
Yeah, that zoom out was legendary. There we go. The Maokai. Oh my goodness, I just want to see more Malphite. I love watching Malphite games because he's just the dumbest champion ever.
Yeah, it would have been really good for Freeze here again. Fugitive.
Oh, smart play. No dumpster fire face checks like last game.
Scary.
Dang it. No dumpster fire walk past the bush blindly. Hope no one's in there.
That would have been cinema.
Or no, sorry, it's throw spell at bot mid brush, walk into first brush.
Perfect. That's the one.
That was the legendary play that started a really bad snowball. Derpy's not going to throw a ward down? You're 1 minute in. You're not going to throw a ward down on the red buff?
No what?
I mean, at least the red buff. If you can't get the Raptors, at least get the red.
Gallia's in a pretty good position here. Both junglers seem to be clearing up to the top side.
There's going to be a Raptor steal. Raptor steal.
Good. Yeah, true.
Because Zach can't really... I mean, he can try to start Raptors. It's not consistent, if you ask me. His W just doesn't come up fast enough without at least 2 spells available to justify it, and he will just have to lose this out. Actually, are we going to see a red fight?
He could go over the wall and try to
Zach
steal
loses
it,
red fight
you're
here.
Absolutely right.
Oh. Yep, not even a... Walks out of smite range, interestingly. So we will just... This is a beatdown already for Quer.
Yeah, could have kept going until the Krogs, but Galio started to roam up to the top side there, so had to give those. Still a really good start, 8-0 right now. Stole both camps away. And I mean, I was saying that Kane can have some rough games, but it's a great way of starting this one off. Now full clear down to bot side. Going to be a bit slower on the clear now for sure, but level 2 for Sivir. Resh.
Well, the hook, field goal. Hook. They were already way out of range, just throwing the hook at that point, honestly. Not even just to throw, but just to remind them to stay away from me, probably. It's not like they can engage yet. Copium. Lethal Temple Warwick here.
Into the Poppy, I mean, has a pretty decent time. I think Poppy can never really
flashy.
Fight. I mean, never mind.
Yeah, Poppy can never...
I'm completely wrong, apparently.
You are an absolute liar. I've seen Poppy, full tank Poppies one-shot people. Like, that champ is busted. And I think they buffed her tankiness. They buffed her top lane. Oof, headshot right there. Nice play by Fugitive to keep the trades going in their favor. As there's the taunt. Yone doesn't really have the damage to shred or to abuse this taunt yet. Later in the game, Derpy is going to make Billy regret taunting him. But now he's not that. Oh, the Caitlyn. Oh, another good one to taunt there. Good dodge with the net as well. Ooh.
That's right.
Kate's going to be fun to taunt.
Poppy reset for just the Ruby Crystal. Warwick's already made it back with the boots.
I mean, look where the wave is,
So,
though. They're not missing anything.
Yeah. I think it was a really good reset for Poppy. Warwick did a decent job as well. Zach looking for the gank in bot.
Flash just immediately spent here. Dod, the juke's coming in from the Maokai as well. It is Caitlyn's flash, but honestly, that is best case scenario for the play that just happened.
A good look, I think. I mean, you're significantly behind on CS against this Kane. I'm not so sure why Quet isn't starting Scuttle there.
Ooh,
He's
nice block.
double CS, half HP. The roam from bot actually is forcing the Kane away. So most likely he's going to have to ditch bot crab, go for top, and I would love a re-invade of Raptors here. Even just skip Scuttle, just run straight to Raptor respawn here with some Yone prior. Galio's basing. I think Zach is in a really rough spot.
This. Oh, never. You have teleport. Why are you doing this? You take that reset, go to teleport. Okay, so we won't see a Raptors invade. We will see the one more wave mentality come in for Billy here. Let's see if it pays off. As Feldroth does win that trade and loses the trade.
Yeah, but he's got a lot of healing as well. Like he will.
Yeah, and so does the Poppy.
Long trades for Warwick. Feel pretty good. Unfortunately, no Raptor invade. I think that was the correct play to go for the Raptor invade there. So yeah, the Raptor respawn invade.
Ooh. Oh, well, got the auto. There's just the flash force. And the one more wave actually pays off for Billy here. Gets the wave in. Really needs to reset now. You can't really clear the wave into this Yone without mana at least. And there's a freeze. Actually, this is more of a slow push. That is slowly just going to turn into a crash, actually, if there's no interaction from Google Map on the wave right now.
I mean, last game it was Maternium. Oh, sorry, it was Quody with the lead, right, on the Lilia. So a similar look in the early game, a massive jungle CS differential that in last game didn't really amount to enough. But, you know, having Kane off to a good start, I think is a great idea here. I imagine you want to go red Kane this game.
Sure.
But I mean, I'm not a Kane player, so I really don't know. I would
I'll
imagine
tell you,
that
four
that's
tanks. You're not playing, or 4 bulky members. I guess Warwick isn't a tank,
Yeah,
but
you're not
he's
playing
very
blue.
strong. He's very healthy. You're not going to take the assassin champion to try and cut down 4,000 health.
Yeah, I think red Kane is the correct choice. Maybe this Yone is really the pivot point for these teams. Because when he gets bulk, he's really going to be...
Just eat him.
Most
Oh, doesn't
of,
get
if
the
not
wall
all.
there. That's going to be a trade in favor of Feldroth just because Mop has no mana.
But does have TP though, so can
Oh,
reset.
just
really
on time, but
unlucky
wait
on
a
the net.
minute. Whoa. Oh! What a flash Q to connect. And that means Fugitive goes down its first blood to Trainer. On a very good catch out there, actually, on the overextension. Or not the overextension, but the face check.
Yeah, no flash on Caitlyn. Tries to net out of the jump in there, and a beautiful hook from this dude I know. He's going to net them the first dragon as well. Kane now going for the third Raptor respawn, so continuing and trying to level up himself and the gold that he's generating and put the Zac behind. Very similar to what we saw last game, right? Ethereum going for the ganks, Quirt's going for the invading. Is it going to pay off? I think that's the important part. If you go down 2 dragons again to, yeah, I think it's risky. It's a risky play for sure. Giving it, I mean, it's only Chemtech, and you are getting significantly in the lead. Like, this is a big invade, actually. Maybe this is completely worth it. If he triple camps here, yeah, okay. Definitely a good read from Quirt.
They will spot him out, though, actually, if he does path through. He will path through Tower Brush. Can't really cut off Feldroth. Has ult, flash, and barrier. Actually, a Warwick tech piece. It is correct. As much as I hate barrier as a spell, because I think it's very annoying, it is the correct play. They will just hand over the Void Grubs because it actually allows you to hang on low health for longer. and also makes your health bar look smaller than it actually is.
Oof, nearly caught out.
Whoa, whoa,
once
whoa,
again.
whoa, whoa! What are you doing there,
Jeez,
Fuchsia?
that was
If the Zac is
confident,
there,
I'll
the
say.
Thresh is nearby, probably.
Your whole team
Okay.
is in topside fighting around grubs, and Caitlyn's just walking in aggressively, checking bushes. But grubs will go over 3 this time. No Vel'Koz to steal, and a huge CS lead in mid as well. I mean, bot is obviously heavily in favor of Sivir, CS and the kill, but mid jungle right now for Squires, they're doing really well.
This is
Oh,
the
no.
kind of... Oh, no, not again. Will walk properly.
Ooh, good trick.
Good moves. This is kind of the expected outcome of a Galio into pretty much anyone lane.
Yeah.
That can just threaten to kill him on wave constantly. Because
Yeah.
all Derpy needs to do, Q the wave twice, EQ3, E back, and the fight's pretty much over. Billy, unless he lands a picture-perfect taunt, or like a perfect taunt that doesn't get blocked, with him getting airborne so he can actually answer it, he pretty much loses every trade here.
10 minutes in. 1 dragon over to Freeze, and the 3 grubs over to
Calm.
Squires. Fairly, calm game. Fairly low gold lead, even though Squires does
Ooh.
have a gold lead. It's only about 500, 600 or so gold. And that's mostly off the back of this CS differential from the mid, from the jungle, and realistically, with the Zac and the Galio, you're not too concerned about going down a couple hundred gold. You know, that's not your real job, is not to have a humongous CS lead. And most of the damage, which is on the Sivir right now, she does have the gold lead, obviously, right? The first blood, 10, and now freezing, so more
Ooh,
CS
now
lead that's going to be built
Derpy's
up.
kind of cooked here. Has the ulti to get away if Billy doesn't block it. But that's kind of the one upside here for Billy, is he has the threat of the taunt constantly. Because you can pretty much insta-cast that thing. So you can get Derpy to panic cast his E, you actually have a really good chance of winning trades.
Galio has this ult available still. So I'm looking for Galio roams. I would love to see Galio, Yone in side lanes quite early in this game. Caitlyn and Sivir both like the mid lane better. And I don't really, we don't really need to see Yone Galio farm in
This is a
mid lane
10-minute
specifically.
eclipse, actually. Hold on.
Yeah, he is significantly ahead.
Whoa!
Gank up in top though.
The eject. Whoa!
Oh, no.
Oh, the fear! If you fear, you turn around,
That
and
was beautiful.
Poppy ult will cast, I believe, when you can buffer it, so it casts when CC'd. And so,
Yeah.
why did he walk back into the taunt? Anyways, so because he released it just before he got feared, he actually fires it backwards once the fear connects, and that is huge. Should not take that hook, and responsible play, but great gank there, and maybe a little bit of luck when it comes to the Warwick fear.
Yeah, some good timing for sure. Yeah, you gotta take those, right? Even still, it's a good gank. It's on a really good timer. Nothing's up at the moment. You have you have spare tempo to use in topside. It gets used. Reset. Look for this dragon in 40 seconds. I think it's a really good attempt, regardless of even if they didn't get the kill. Obviously they did. So helping the Warwick get through this lane, where he's succumbing to quite a bit of CS differential now, and evening that out really helps. Getting those boots online as well into the team comp, that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, dragon in 20 seconds. Bot lane prior looks relatively even,
Eldros
although
loses
Quat
that.
has rotated earlier. Zac now pathing down.
Ooh.
Kane's resetting though.
Oh, the hook used to get back to the lane. No. Reset canceled there, knowing or suspecting something was up with how aggressive Dude I Know was playing. And now it's going to be triple resets. All synchronized. And not quite the damages. There's the barrier going out. And that is a huge spell, actually. That's a miscast. Uh-oh,
no.
misinput.
That's a
is-
huge mistake.
And that's a long
I think
cooldown,
that's-
actually.
Yeah, I think that's grounds to completely give the dragon. The resets, yeah, base timing, timing your bases all together is great. But when it's as Dragon spawns, you're never contesting that. Warwick ult up in top. Google Mop has no mana.
Neither of them
But I
do.
don't think Feld. Yeah, I don't think Feld can chase anymore. But yeah, Maokai ult in base. That's gonna be a give on the Dragon.
That is a guaranteed. Maybe Kane could have went for a steal, but that is the upper limit of what we are asking for here.
Ocean Soul, Zach, Warwick. That's pretty scary. You're up 2. Soul
Ooh.
Points is next. Canceling the base. That's a flash forward.
You don't get the kill there.
He
I guess you
really
get-
wanted that base reset.
You get tempo?
Yeah, you do get tempo, but you do use flash for it.
Yeah, I'm
And,
gonna
I mean,
say,
he's not really
as a-
pushing in enough.
it's not even shoved. I mean, it's not gonna freeze, but this isn't going to be a great reset, and then just gets stunned, gives over another grasp stack, which is gonna come in effect later. And he resets anyway. You get a slight reset advantage, but
Kane's
Okay, now-
pathing around here for the top lane.
oh,
If
they're
Warwick
baiting. They
decides
want
to
this.
stay here.
What is
Yeah, I think
Feldroth
they
doing
do.
here? Just not really thinking this through. Doesn't have the red for the knockup yet, but has the ulti. Smite goes down. Will be able to heal a ton off of this wave, but does he have enough to secure this kill? No. Even with the Eclipse, and here comes Materium. Oh my goodness, still gets the kill.
Ooh,
The Let's Bounce goes out, but it's actually going to land a stun for Google Mop here. Nice collision of the minds. The E connects. Google Mop will not fall quite yet. They're chasing so hard here. How the heck is Fugitive up here? What is going on? What?
that looks
Flash
very
away
strange.
just for safety. I've never seen that interaction before. And then punish again. Feldroth goes for the same thing twice, and fool me once, shame on you. But burn your flash for reset cancel, and you don't even secure a wave crash. Shame on you.
Yeah, as soon as the flash is done, you know immediately Quirt's pathing up to the top side. Good attempt from Billy to save. But yeah, unfortunately, the bot lane, Caitlyn and Maokai were both there. So
What
you're at a
is-
complete numbers disadvantage. Really good roam over. Now Herald going in favor of Squires as well. This Kane has some ground to stand on. Is in a very good position and hopefully isn't too far off of form upgrade.
Ooh, that's 2
Not
objectives.
quite yet,
secured.
but
2-2.
yeah, we got the Grubs and the Herald for 2 dragons. If Squires are able to fight around these dragons now, those 2 dragon lead at the start will be. It won't mean much, but I'm still in the back of my mind. I'm still thinking about last game about potential throw.
Under tower,
Warwick
that
ulted
was
on
not a
tower.
lot of damage from the Warwick. But here comes Materium again. We go again. Bonk. I don't think Feldroth can actually stop this all alone, and Mop will be able to survive. No, stop it. Bad. Hi, Materium. Oh, actually lands a max range Q. Very lucky there, but not going to be able to pull it. Meets in the middle, of course. Which means, doesn't do much. He's just
Ooh,
going to stay.
completely
After all
dropping
this...
Mid-prio. Mid-touch is gone for
Oh.
free.
Yeah, that's first turn. That's the feats of strength. Completely handed over. Or, well, not yet. A kill or an objective, and it's most likely going to be an objective at this pace. He seems playing
Yeah,
very
both teams.
slow and cautious, actually. A rarity
yeah,
in this tier.
it's a curious drop for me. I know that Collector is great, but I just don't like Collector into like a bunch of tanks. I think that it's kind of not
Especially
enough
first
damage.
item up.
Yeah, first item.
Done.
I think they just Yuntal build
Another
is better.
Especially, yeah. It's not like you guys are team fighting a ton. It's not like you need the Collector now. You guys have
Exactly.
spent the past 17 minutes farming and claiming objectives with 4 kills in between. 3 of those happened at the same time. Oh. Mop is fine. Mop is perfectly fine here to walk away. Again, no flash. Poppy is
These guys
immortal,
just-
but
They're just doing their
guys are
best
just
to hit each
having
other
a
as much
good
as
time.
possible. Yeah, they
This is
they
top
made
lane.
a deal.
oh. Saber's gonna be able to block that. Uh-oh. Nope. Good block. Ooh. I don't know how Materium got hit by that, but good blocks regardless from the tanks to let the Sivir get away right after the shield went down at the most inconvenient time.
Yeah, a bit early on the shield. But yeah, I feel like these top laners are they've just said to each other in post game like, "Yo, why don't we try to get the like top damage for our team next game?" And they said, "Okay, great, let's pick Poppy Warwick."
Poppy
And
Warwick,
they've just
fight
been
forever.
ordering each other the entire time. Yeah, Poppy's got infinite armor now, and Warwick has BOL. So they're both just going to be smacking each other non-stop. Neither is really going to be... I don't think either of these two are going to be getting a solo kill. He's trying, though.
Almost got a solo kill there. Google Mop just kind of letting it happen a little bit.
TP is so close.
This is on a good TP.
I think he wants to wait for TP, yeah, but Dragon is
You don't need to wait for it to
This
get
is
up.
no
Your
Dragon.
reset, I mean, you will lose Drake here, most likely, unless you get a really good play or steal. You could steal it, because you kind of do actually, you really need to claim this, or else you lose Boots upgrade and Boots upgrade. That's it. Showing a
And you'll get Soul
really
Commission as
early,
well.
super early show here from Quir. And they're going to try and go into Derpy, and that just means that Trainer is all alone. The taunt comes through. Can he get the ulti off? He will, but it's on to Billy as a two-man fate. Not fate sealed, sorry. But there's the Galio ult coming in. Not going to connect with anything. Quir goes down, and that's the feats of warfare secured. And that means it is the feats of strength over to the Fool, or OSG freeze. Oh my goodness. As there's more on the back end, hauling all the way down with the blood pass. Feldroth is here to party and secures a second kill.
Good push out from Google, but yeah, once again, Maokai doesn't have ult for the Dragon. You're absolutely right, Quert sends it way too early. He's spotted. And then not only spotted, but decides to go in as well. It decides it's time for him to initiate the team fight. And this is the thing, you have a 50, nearly 50 CS lead, 40 CS lead, but it doesn't really matter when you make big mistakes in team fights. It's kind of what happened last game as well. You can have a big lead, but if you jump into 4 people and multiple of them are tanks, plus the Silver Spell Shield,
He wasn't Red Cane
burnt
yet.
no flashes. Yeah, he was Red Cane. He's been Red Cane for
Oh,
a
he was
bit,
Red Cane? Okay,
but,
I just want to...
yeah.
I swear I did not see a knock up here. Oh, well. Oh, blocks it. What do you... You can... Oh, has Quir coming in actually is very confident in the ability to survive, and given the fact that Mop is still above 1,500, I don't blame them.
I don't normally like to talk about chat when I cast, but I'm going to. Ozzy has just pointed out to me that if you would like to divert your eyes to the Maokai build, you might feel pain in your very soul, which is what I'm feeling currently.
What is this? I saw the tier and I was like, okay, cool, but why are you going Faded Ashes simultaneously?
Tier support?
Tier support.
Yeah, tier support, and then what? He's going Leandry's support?
You're building a 3,000 gold item while also ensuring you're building like a 2,800 gold item. Like you're building, I believe it's 2,800, but still, that's almost 3,000 still, no matter what. Like round up.
Very close.
That's like 6 grand you're spending on 2 items.
Most of the time, supports get 1 item, and it's like 2,000 gold, 2,200. And
as a support main, I'm lucky to get 3 items in a game.
Exactly. Hasn't finished boots. Does have the support starter, I guess. That's a lot of the fight. I mean, maybe the point is... I mean, I don't know.
No.
The ult is
no
there,
point.
I guess. But, I don't understand
this is a jungle
going
build.
Fimbulwinter support.
This is a high econ jungle build that you usually go the Leandries into your first tank item, which can be the Fimbulwinter. Doesn't need to be, but it's an option, especially because you're hitting camps a lot, so you get free stacks. But
Sure.
on the other hand,
What are you?
you are like jungle's the second lowest econ role in the game on average. Support's the lowest by the biggest margin. No reaction speed from Google Mop. Is this going to be a secured kill? Doesn't have the ulti, and it's a little late on the steadfast presence, and that means it's going to continue to be the bounty castle for Google Mop. Trying to stall for time is so tanky. Finally flashes out, only when it's like absolutely necessary.
Yeah, good play there from Google. Doesn't send it too early. Good pathing from Quert.
Almost bought enough time
have
too.
Someone in the mid lane. Yeah, nearly Maokai was rotating up as well. And did have ult for that fight, so potentially could have turned it around. But yeah, didn't drop mid prior this time. And it's actually going to be Yone up against the Warwick in the side lane. Galio been put in the top, and Poppy's happy to play against that. So maybe a little more kill potential, but I don't think still we're going to be seeing any kills in these side lanes, any Any solo kills, any 1v1.
This is AP Galio. What am I? What?
True, it's Roa Riftmaker.
Oh, that's a
Galio.
good hook.
out.
Nice cancel though from Sigma. Now sending out the.
My king.
I mean, yeah, but I take back everything I just said. Derpy is dead. Oh my goodness, there's no way. He's still dead, but what?
Wait.
No, he survives. He doesn't have enough. He doesn't take another turret shot. If he took another turret shot, yes, but holy cow, how did they let him get away with that? As the push went a little far. Still will get the flash out of Billy. At least it's something.
A lot of people getting caught right now. Thresh out of position, uses the flash maybe a bit.
Well, that wasn't out of
preemptively,
position.
then
That was
down in bot.
that flash was to defend Trainer. Even though I
Still in the
think,
bush.
oh, you're not in the bush. So it happens sometimes. To the best of us, didn't matter. Billy wasn't going to try and kill a Poppy.
I feel like Sivir should be blocking for Maokai with spell shield. Maybe it was down. I didn't see.
I
But,
think the spell shield
yeah.
was already burned, and yeah, dude was just playing. I can actually call him dude. It's his name. But dude was just playing hyper safe just in case there was some insane follow up from the Maokai. Just insurance marker kind of thing.
Sol up in 20 seconds. Positions around for tactical freeze right now.
Oh, this is really good for tactical freeze right here.
Yone's pathing top does have TP to try to rotate and contest. Galio reset, pathing
Now
down
he's
mid lane.
running
They've been
down.
Working on that mid wave. Dragon,
It's going to be a
Getting
teleport
looked at
up
just in-
instead.
hearing vision.
Uh,
Maybe a bit early.
engaging onto the Maokai isn't awful. He won't get the ulti off, I guess, but that is not who you want to be hitting with all your spells, and he gets out anyways. Now Quir has to haul away. Yone just getting so much free damage in, and that is a lot of health chunked down. Oh. Oh, it's Google. It's fine. And
Good hook.
frame perfect
tanky
block
though.
on material.
Look at these health bars though for Squires, very low. You've got Warwick and Zach for healing. Sivir's picking up one of those plants as well. One of the,
Oh my goodness, all the blocks today. It's going great. If he blocks Feldorf... Oh, nice two-man ulti, but Derpy doesn't have the health to finish the job. They will get Feldorf, but it's already 3 down on the side of the Squires. Here comes the heroic entrance. Mop is just immortal. They want Fugitive, and they're gonna finally get him down. It's 360 gold, and it's the sweetest 360 gold trainers ever gotten. It's the double kill. It's the ace for... Oh my goodness, I can't even remember the name. Tactical Freeze. I should say OSG, but... They won the fight regardless of me knowing their name.
Soul picked up, Ocean Soul, and Baron after that. Beautiful fight. I think they overchase a little bit, but Squires were extremely split on what they really wanted to do. The Yone ult was great, but at that point it was a little late, I think. Again, the Kayn tries and really just can't find the only target that he has, which is the Sivir. Galio ult used at a really nice time. These hooks as well from this dude I know have been on point, hitting the correct target all the time. They juggle aggro really well. So yeah, they overchase a little bit, but it ends up going very, very well for tactical
Overwatch's
freeze.
approach is only 2400. That doesn't make it okay. Sorry, I just looked it up to make
I
sure.
mean, he went Leandry's first and still hasn't finished Boots, so it's,
Yeah.
it's still not okay.
As a support, I'd rather have the Boots over finish Leandries. Especially as
Yeah.
support tank Maokai.
Yeah, I agree. Ocean Soul picked up not Baron, so they wanted to reset first. Death timers were a bit too short, but still in a great position are tactical freeze to send this one to a
Derpy's dead
2-0
here.
taunt. Does
Derpy's
hit.
just
Fate
sending
sealed.
everything. Flash
No,
away.
Flash away.
Why are you flashing
trying to
here?
get the wave.
You're dead. Like, there's no escaping. You are dead. Why are you flashing there?
Galio has TP as well to join the fight up in the top around Baron. Or
Now
out of
Baron's
town if
open.
Either is taken.
Baron's
but Galio
wide
can just
open.
continue to push down bot,
Yeah.
and they can just get the tower for free. Poppy has a bit of a roam here, but I mean, it's
I guess
spotted
they-
on vision. Warwick.
I don't think they have the damage
That's
for this.
spotted.
I feel that
I
they
feel like
could
they
have
do.
probably threatened Baron here. They have plenty of damage, and now the jump in actually. What? Why is
That's
Google
a
Mop
good
there?
CC chain. Wow, beautiful chain of CC. The
How did Mop
fear,
even
the
get
ult
there?
suppress, and the hook, and the flail all hitting one after the other. Galio continuing to push this. Baron has now been started. 6 seconds on Yone, does have TP, but 40-second respawn. on this Poppy.
He's on
Warwick is
vision.
passed down. Sorry, Kane passed down bot, so there's no steal attempt at all.
I have several questions.
Ooh, Maokai ult, why?
Maokai ult also doesn't hit the Baron, I believe.
Even if
As
it
in, I
does,
don't-
like...
I mean, as in, I don't think it can hit the Baron.
But even if it does, like, it doesn't steal there, ever.
I'm not gonna do enough. It does like 120 damage, as they're just gonna try and get some reconciliation.
Atacon, on top.
Consolation prize. They do deny the ulti, but they're going to also lose the Atacon here, and that is 17 petals at the moment. Not a ton.
Let's
This
have a
has actually been a very normal game, like a very chill game. And
What are we
let's
going
see.
through now? Let's have a look.
Up to that's 10 extra
27.
petals, boosted petals too. May I remind you?
Yeah, they're all buff now.
I gotta look this up as well. Dang it, there's so many. No, I don't want to talk about Bee Swarm Simulator. I want to talk about this. Spirit petals. At 27 stacks, they are getting 15 bonus AD and 27 ability or 25 ability power, which doesn't matter at all. Oh yeah, they also get more
You get
experience
a bunch of experience, yeah, which is the really important part.
to expand their already
I mean, it's
pretty sizable or decent XP advantage.
a really good position now for Tactical Freeze. Baron on their backs. Some very, very low health towers remaining in the tier 1 in top lane, the tier 2 in mid. And they are poised to take this series away 2-0 very convincingly. What can Squires really do here?
This is
Yeah,
a
not a
complete
lot.
180 from game 1, though.
Yeah,
Game
you're
1,
right. I think the
they were
early
on the
game-
back foot the whole from downtown, and the follow-up is here. I don't think the super. You guys are tickling this guy. I don't think the superhero play is what you think it is. Nice stun, but there's the barrier coming out, and here comes the teleport from Billy to try and seal the deal. Flashing forwards will secure the kill into Google Mop. I think this Kane ulti is a little too late, and ooh, actually buffering with the Q as well to deny the airborne, but that is just the icing on the cake for Feldroth, who is officially immortal with 2 items. Warwick, baby. Woo.
Warwick. Barrier Warwick. Mid tower taken down. There's not really much Squires can
well,
do as
that's a
they
kill.
watch.
Flash
as they
away from an
watch
auto attack.
Tactical Freeze just pick apart their base. The towers are falling slowly, and everywhere they go, everywhere Squires go, death follows them, and not in a good way.
Why do you go Wild Arrow's second item? I'm not over this. Why did oh, that's just tough.
Yeah, the
lives, but
Yone
that-
build.
Questionable.
Ooh, yeah. Close.
Will survive. No chase from the Warwick. Gave up to just kill the turret instead, and instead will settle to kill the jungler. Once again, it is a huge explosion. Another in mid, another takedown has gone through as well, and this is the end. If game 1 was a one-time explosion to secure the game, this is just the game-long beatdown to ensure they remember that this is for top 3. Tactical Freeze moved to 4-2 in dominant fashion. 2-0 over the Fools 5 Squires. Oh. J Beto has died. Uh-oh. Or I have. No, I'm here still, but J Beto has perished. That's not good. Oh. He is DC'd, but that is a tough pill to swallow. You can see the damage down. Oh, wow, they did. Okay, well, when he gets back, he'll be happy to hear that. The Poppy and Warwick did do first and second most damage in the entire lobby. Full tank Poppy, of course, because she has very high base numbers. As we're back, and you'll be happy to see the numbers of this Poppy, because you were pretty much right by like 1,000 damage about this top lane. Pretty close.
Perfect. Both top laners, just considering, you guys just want to have like top damage than everyone else. The only person that did more than the Poppy that isn't the Warwick was the Galio. So
It
Poppy
worked. It should have.
nearly. Yeah, I mean, I still think I've seen one other Kane game. It didn't have anywhere near as good of a start as this one did, but it ends up looking the same. I just think Kane is fairly unplayable against teams that have organization. I mean, I'm not saying that Kurt even played that well. I don't think he did, but I think that anytime you're playing against a Kane, anytime you're playing Kane, your team's playing Kane, and the enemy team has basically what they have, right? A lot of lifesteal, healing in general, tanks, and they're coordinated. They're calling out where the Kane is, they're prioritizing on the Kane and peeling for the Sivir, playing around the ult. It's really difficult to play the Kane. I also think that there was, again, there's not for both of these teams, I think there's not a whole lot of going in at the same time, to put it plainly. Kane, goes through the wall, ults on a target. I need to see Poppy, E flash R, something like that. Or sorry, flash ER, or just flash R, anything like that. Snappy engage, following with Yone. I need to see some flanking angles from the Yone. Yeah, I think what I want is some more straightforward team comps. I think that playing something like a Nocturne Oriana all the time and running with that is just really strong. I think that's why, in my opinion, that was one of my points as to why I put the Jolly Rogers Ghost Crew in my power rankings at number 1, despite them losing one game and being second, is because I see them prioritize Xinjiao Oriana all the time in their drafting. With some form of frontline that can engage with them, with a long range backline or a support that can follow that as well, enough damage. I think that I would love to see teams like I love comfort, I do, but I don't love it when the picks don't really work together and you aren't prepared for what your team's champions are going to do. I think that when your team has a really standard game plan of we do this to them now, your team fights look a lot better. And Tactical Freeze, in my opinion, had a comp that was slightly in that niche. They misplayed it quite significantly throughout the beginning of the game, but then they win that one team fight. It looks so good. I want to see more comps like that from teams in this division because, yeah, I just think we're playing champions that are really difficult and also don't get a lot of value, even if you are really good at them. So, good win from Tactical Freeze. Really good game 2. Rough start to game 1. Good execution on the team fights, but yeah, unfortunate for Squires.
I mean, simply, as you said, keep it simple. Yone, conditional success. You need to get ahead, which he was for a little bit, but I don't love the build, but that's a personal preference. You still can go
Sure.
Bork, usually into IE and another crit item. Or I guess actually another crit item into IE. One that has immediate
Shield bow.
crit, of course. And then the Kane is so uncommon for a reason in organized play. There's callouts. A lot of teams, even at this tier where it's like, this is the lowest tier BOL run, or that Blue Water run, and it's like, their coaches are still instilling into them vision control, calling out when players are on roams, where the jungler is, like, where did you spot him last, so where is he going to go next kind of things. It's like, they have simple jungle tracking being implemented, so they're aware of where a champion like Kane is going to be, because he doesn't have the ability to turn the lights off like Nocturne. Like, you can know where Nocturne is. If he turns the lights off, it doesn't matter. You gotta coordinate with your team to find out where he's going. And then the Maokai, it's like, keep it simple. I get you want to provide some burn utility because your team is lacking in AP. You do not get around that by drafting Maokai support with Liandry's.
Yeah.
You get around that by drafting an AP jungle or an AP mid laner supported by tanks, usually in the jungle and support roles, to allow them to get an advantage. And there's a reason the best teams in the world and the best teams in in all of our tiers are still playing generally mages in the mid, tank jungles, tank top lanes, and engage supports, is because it works. It's been proven to work for 15 years, and it has not changed very much, besides, I guess, assassins were kicked out a while ago. But it's like, getting the simple things right is so important in just strategy, because you can build around the building blocks and get creative. If the Kane is supported properly, by really good vision control, it doesn't really matter if they track you properly because you can coordinate with your team to set up good angles for the Kayn to succeed in. But you got to get from step like point A to point B before you go from, okay, we're going to take this and play Kayn, because Kayn is very hard to work into this kind of environment. It's like you got to start with the simple things and then get to the, like, if you really want to get experimental, you got to start with the simple, master the simple, then you're able to do really weird things. Like, we've seen a lot of teams get away with really weird drafts because they know how to kind of manipulate the game to how they want to play it.
Sure. I completely agree. I think, I'm going to basically just say what you did again, because I think that's what I really want to say. You need to get the simple stuff, the more straightforward stuff, really strong. You need to be really comfortable with doing that, whether that's just a very simple, like circles comp, where your ults are all really easy to hit. They do a lot of damage. Nice, whether it's something like I mentioned before, something like a Nocturne Oriana, or just a combo that has some really easy synergies, not easy, some really straightforward synergies, where your game plan is always the same thing. There's obviously difficulties with pardon me, with a comp like that, with something like a Nocturne Oriana. But even then, you're working through and understanding how to change your game plan throughout the game as the other team comes up with answers to what you're doing. Because, it does feel a lot as though a lot of these picks are, I really want to play this, I'm really comfortable with this champion, but A, is it that great in organized play? No. And B, does it have synergy with your comp and against an enemy comp? There are a lot of picks where, like as an example, I love seeing Gangplank in pro play, and it's really difficult. I'm not saying that I want to see Gangplank in any BOL division, but I love it because it always fits a role. It's always about playing a really ranged top laner and having, a lot of damage from the top lane. Things like Fiora don't do too well, but I still like that. But oftentimes you'll check into a draft and it's most of the time, Sejuani and some form of AD carry and any other mage, or Maokai, Jace, Ezreal, very standard, right? You use the saplings to slow, you hit your poke. That's basically the entire team comp when you draft like that. Anything else, like I said, you go Vi Ari was up the entire set and it isn't prioritized at all. Vi Talia, again, not played. That stuff is straightforward. And I feel like if you as a team can't play that, I don't want to see you go towards something like a Kayn, or even towards something like the Sivir did really well, but when you're kind of going out there a bit, Warwick top did really well. It neutralized the lane effectively, but yeah, it's mostly the jungle mid synergies, I think, that are quite off in a lot of these games, and the support picks as well. I don't know why teams don't want to play Alistar. That champion is so busted and broken.
It's free.
I tried to combine them and I said brosted. He's so strong. It's ridiculous what you can do in Alistar. It's so quick. No Rakan prior this set either. The rel was nice. It was a nice look. But yeah, at the end of the day, it was still a really good second game from Tactical Freeze. A good first game from Squires, although their comms were a bit awkward. But yeah, we are going towards playoffs soon, so these games do matter.
You got to clean it up. And the Squires, they've shown they can do some cool stuff. But until it starts converting to wins, it's kind of going to be a thing we have to keep talking about, because we've seen them on streak already, and it's kind of been the same thing of, like, it's worked until it stops working. So, and OSG also have stuff to clean up, just because we talked a lot about the Squires, because they kind of had a very clear pick that we think didn't work. It doesn't mean that the other side, no pun intended, were perfect. There's always room for improvement, regardless of game outcome, obviously. So I hope both of the teams kind of look at this and improve, because there's something there for both of these teams. Like, game 2 showed there's something for OSG that can really run like dominant map control, and Fools 5, the Squires specifically, I guess, in this situation. Just so no confusion with the Mercs. But like they showed in game 1, they actually whoops. Hello, welcome back. But like in game 1, they showed they can hang with some of these high mid-tier teams, and I think we just need to see that come out more often. So hope to see it hammered on in practice, scrims, review, and then have it come out in the games, because it'd be nice to see them pick up a dub.
Yeah.
But that is it, unless you have something to add this side. Whoops. No, sorry for the
I don't know
yap
what that
sesh,
is to me.
guys. Sorry for the yap session, but it's just that's what we're here to do. We're here to yap, and we're here to talk about League of Legends a bit too much. But thank you for the teams for agreeing to come on and showcase what they got. Thank you for Jvetta to putting up with this. Thank you, Bronco, also for putting up with us talking for way too long. And thank you guys for watching. We hope to see you back for next week and hopefully the rest of the season. I don't know if Diamond is finished. If it is, we'll be rating there very shortly to see the ending of that series. So we will see you next week with more Blue Otter League Gold Division.